Welcome, everyone, and you're listening to episode 14 of the Columbus Comics Corner podcast.
Got no need for the fancy things, all the attention that it brings. Tell me no, I say yes, I was chosen, and I will deliver the explosion. Can't say it's gonna get me far, do no good to say what you are. I run the streets and I break up houses, river runs deep and the flame devours it. Me, I'm a creator.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone, to episode 14 of the Columbus Comics Corner podcast. Happy New Year to you. We're actually recording this, and it'll also be released, more than likely it'll be released on the 2nd, technically. But we're recording it on the 1st of January, start of the new year. So Happy New Year to you all. And again, thank you for listening.
Happy New Year's.
Yep. So we got a whole new year for Columbus Comics Corner. This will be our first official full year, because we started pretty late last year. October was when we recorded our first pilot episode. But yeah.
Hey, we started late, but we finished strong.
Yes, we did. Had a lot of good books to discuss too, and some not so good.
Yeah.
But anyways, actually, I should mention as well, later we're also going to be recording our top 5 list. We have a few categories that we're going to be choosing from, but that'll be released more than likely. I think it's going to be released separately. Well, we can figure out if we want to add it to this episode or not. But we can discuss that off air. But before we get into the comics and all that stuff, as always, you can find all of our episodes on Podbean and iTunes. At Podbean, it's columbuscomicscorner.podbean.com. And you can follow us on Twitter as well at Comics Corner Pod. And you can also email us at columbuscomicscorner@gmail.com. And we'll read anything that you send to us via email. Or if you want to leave us a review on iTunes, we will review or read that on air as well. But just to warn you, we are a spoilers podcast once we get to the comics. But we have a bit of entertainment news and a bit of comic book news before we get to the comics this week. And what do we have in the entertainment news, Alan?
Well, it was a pretty slow end of the year for entertainment news, but we did finally get the trailer for the Alien Covenant movie, which I have been waiting to see for so long.
Yeah, I didn't
got a chance to see the trailer, correct?
Yeah, I didn't expect them to release it this year. I thought it was going to be like maybe end of January, like March type, or maybe February type of deal. But yeah, we got it on Christmas Day.
I mean, I can agree with that. I was surprised. It was a nice little surprise at the end of the year. It was a solid trailer. It wasn't stunning or epic, but it was solid. Like, it definitely raised my interest to see the movie.
Yeah, and we still got what, I don't know, when does it come out? July, I think.
I don't know. That would be interesting if it comes out in July, because I mean, what else? Something else is coming out in July. Spider-Man.
Okay, it's probably not July.
And it's interesting because my birthday is in July, so like now I got 2 movies I need to see around my birthday.
Yeah, if it's July, we'll see if they put it around there. I forget when, but I'm sure we'll get at least one more trailer. I'll probably watch the next trailer, but if they keep doing TV spots and another trailer after that, I probably won't. I'll probably tune out for it. But yeah, overall, it wasn't a bad trailer to give us on Christmas Day, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in the trailer. I thought the fact that the guy who was infected in the quarantine room with the one crew member, obviously we don't know people's names yet, but they were in the infection room, the quarantine room, and the guy started actually morphing into a xenomorph, which was weird because normally you get the face hugger, which we saw in the trailer. We're getting face huggers this time.
Yeah.
Awesome. But normally you get the face huggers, they lay the egg, and then they get the chest burster that bursts out the chest. And this guy seems like, because when they first go into the ship, they show where the spores go up in the air, and the guy ingests spores, and I'm guessing that's how he gets infected.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see that they're doing. Maybe he's not even going to be an alien. Maybe he's going to be something different.
Well, now that I think about it, now you mentioned it, they showed I forget what the actual person's called, but the guy, they showed him in the hood, and they had the gun.
Are you talking about the from Prometheus?
Yeah. Yes.
The android?
The android. No, not android. I wish I could remember the thing's exact name. I want to call it a Prometheus, but because I tried to pull up Life and Death #4 because it was mentioned in that book, but I couldn't find it. But I think because the guy that was in the hood towards the end of the trailer, you didn't see a face. It was all black, and he just had a gun, and he was coming out of the woods. It was it was an exact panel almost from the recent Life and Death Aliens Life and Death issue #4.
So then, do you think that this movie is going to draw from the comic then?
Yeah, a little bit. Once I saw that, I was like, yes, I can see it pulling from the comic, and then maybe that's what that guy is going to turn into, based on the trailer. Maybe theory. That's one of my theories.
Well, yeah, because I saw when I first saw his back start to transform, it looked like the back of the Xenomorph. But then, as somebody who likes the Alien movies, I thought real fast, like, well, we got face huggers, so they can't break up the life process of the alien. Like, they have to keep that the same. We have to go from face hugger, chest burster to actual alien.
Yeah.
But like I said, the scene with the spores made sense, and we're still dealing with pre-alien.
Yep.
When I say pre-alien, I mean the first Alien movie. So we're still getting to that they're probably still evolving into that. Like in Prometheus, you can see like Alien was evolving through the movie.
Yep.
Because he went from the little snake thingy, which was obviously the pre-face hugger, and then at the end you got something that looked like a xenomorph. It wasn't the one we're used to, but it looked like it was headed towards that.
Headed towards that, yeah.
And I'm thinking this isn't necessarily it is a sequel, but it's not Prometheus 2. So I don't know how much time is going to have passed between Prometheus and this movie.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure either. I do hope the scene where they showed the facehugger coming out, I hope that guy isn't dead right away, because he's a pretty big. He's one of like the bigger actors. He was in Watchmen. He was who was he? Crap. I wish I could remember. He was in Watchmen though. But I hope they didn't give that away that he's dead. That would be a bummer.
I mean, it's gutsy sometimes when they do that in movies, when they kill off one of the bigger name actors early on. I don't think they'll do that. If anything, I think it'll probably jump out and maybe somebody knocks him out the way before it gets on him, or
Dr. Manhattan
can't get through his helmet or something like that. So I don't think they're going to do that to him, like especially not right away. And probably what I'm guessing is going to be the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It was the guy from it was Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen. That guy.
You're right.
But yeah, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I forget. Hopefully, I forgot what the release date for it, but I don't think it's July. It doesn't feel like it's July just because you had mentioned that Spider-Man's coming out, and most people usually try to stay away from Marvel movies.
I will say this: the trailer definitely has me excited for it, but it's got me even more excited for the actual Alien sequel that's coming a little bit after this with Ripley.
Yeah, because
we're gonna get some of these. I think we're gonna get one more of these like prequel movies before Alien, but then we're also supposed to the movie will technically be Alien 5 technically.
Yeah,
but
technically
it's really Alien 3.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's supposed to be a new director for one of the Aliens after Ridley Scott.
I think it's for this one. I could be wrong, but I think we get the new director for this Alien movie, and then the other one is actually going to be Ridley Scott. But I think Ridley Scott is, or it might be the other way around. I know Ridley Scott is executive producing one of them. Yeah,
it's the other way around. He's doing this one because it's funny. Like the new guy,
you're right.
His was announced first, and then Ridley Scott announced his and pushed that guy's back. I was like, damn, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, you're right. I just had to think about like, yeah, you're right. I just seen an article on the other Alien movie.
Yeah, so that guy got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, he's got bigger shoes to fill technically.
Yeah, I want to say it's the guy who's doing episode 8, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But it was somewhere in that ballpark of directors.
Well, I'm excited for both of them, and this trailer has me excited for both of those movies.
Yeah, I like Prometheus. A lot of people, it's like kind of half and half for a lot of people. I enjoyed it myself, personally. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people don't like necessarily prequel stories, but that was the big stink about Rogue One, was because Rogue One is essentially a prequel story.
Yeah.
I mean, Rogue One is more of an in-between prequel story, and that's what a lot of people had issues with. But I mean, it served its purpose. It was good. Prequels can be good because a lot of times they can answer those questions that you always wondered as a fan.
Exactly. And a lot of people didn't even know.
Some people just prefer to not know.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't even know Prometheus was a part of the Alien like universe, which was.
Oh, I knew going into it. That's what made me really want to see it. Was I knew going into it. I seen the title, and then I saw the first few trailers and heard Ridley Scott had his name attached to it, and then I started seeing stuff, interviews and everything when they were discussing the movie, and they were talking about how it was essentially a prequel to Alien.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know officially until I saw the movie how much of a prequel it was.
Oh yes. Hell yeah, cool. Yeah, we both look forward to that. But yeah, we have one bit of comic book news. This is pretty exciting. The 8-year-old me got pretty happy.
Oh yeah, I saw this and was like, I know you were so excited for this.
Yeah, I got pretty happy for this. So this comes from Newsarama. So it's titled New Robotech title piloted by Brian Wood. I'm not too familiar with him. He's done DMZ, which I have not read. I believe it's an Image title. But anyways, Brian Wood is spearheading the new Robotech comic book title based on the 1980s Harmony Gold animated series. It's scheduled to debut 2017 from Titan Comics. Wood's Robotech is described as full of surprises by the animation company. And this is a quote from the Harmony Gold's USA president, Tommy Yoon. We are excited to have the opportunity to work with Brian to expand the Robotech universe. His bold approach to storytelling is thoughtful and will be full of surprises for fans. Titans did not release any details on the artists involved with the relaunch. So yeah, the 8-year-old me was super hyped, and the age I am now, I'm still super hyped. For this to come out.
I was just going to ask, like, are you? I'm probably asking a silly question here, but something tells me you're going to pick this up.
Oh yes, I'm picking all these up. Especially like, Titan Comics are doing some good stuff recently. At least with Tank Girls, the only thing I've necessarily read from them. But yeah, Robotech, I'm all about. I grew up on that. Like my brother was a big fan, and he's kind of one that got me hyped to mainly, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about today, like comics and nerdy stuff. But he was a big Robotech and Mech Warrior and all the mech stuff. Gundam.
I must say anything mech he likes.
Yeah, Gundam. So, and I remember the animated series was great. I need to go back and watch some of that stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this to drop.
I actually never had a chance to really get into Robotech like I wanted to. That's about the time when I was really understanding the difference between anime and American cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really got to dive into Robotech because it was episodic. And I'm one of those people where like I need to see it from the beginning to the end to get the whole story. I don't like jumping into the middle of a story.
Yeah.
If I know that there's something before.
No, yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons why even with like Dragon Ball, I love Dragon Ball Z and everything. And for me, I couldn't really get into it when it was out because by the time I found out about it, it had already been going on for a while.
Yeah,
so I had to wait for the opportunity to catch it from the beginning.
Yeah, it was same here with me. Like, I jumped in and it felt like I'd missed like 30 episodes. There were so many.
Yeah, but I mean, I was a fan like Voltron. Like, I loved Voltron. And there was a couple of cartoons we had here that they licensed out to have Japanese animation studios do, like Silverhawks.
Is that I think that's one I was just thinking about, but I couldn't think of the name exactly.
It probably was Silverhawks. It was an American production, but we the studio. I think it might have been Funimation. Matter of fact, now I think about it, but they licensed it out to do the animation in Japan.
Did they have like feathers on their uniforms?
They kind of did.
Kind of, yeah.
They were partly metal, partly real Silverhawks.
I think it's the same thing I'm thinking of.
Any fans we have that might be listening to this right now got what I just did there. But yeah, they did. They were essentially they had like they were cybernetic soldiers essentially.
Okay,
that were modeled after birds.
Okay, yeah, this is something else then.
So they did have they did have one. Oh, wait a minute, are you thinking about G-Force? Is what I think you're thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking about. Yep.
Where they have the actual bird suits and the helmets and all that.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
G-Force is kind of similar to Silverhawks.
Okay,
it's kind of similar. You probably saw Silverhawks growing up and didn't really necessarily know what it was because it flew under the radar a little bit. It was popular for a little bit, and then it just kind of
went away,
died out. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I want to say DC had something to do with it. I think DC may have had something to do with the Silverhawks.
They like their hawks, their Hawkmen and Hawk and Dove.
It makes sense. DC has a thing with bird guys and Hawkman and like DC's got had a thing with birds back in the day.
Yeah, I'm wondering when they'll finally be able to announce some more stuff for this, because I do want to know what the artist team's going to be like. Because I'm wondering if Brian Wood will write like the first issue and then give it away to someone else type of deal.
I don't know. I kind of hope that whoever they get for the artist, they kind of try to keep that anime style to it.
Yeah, I think they will. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pick that up. Because they didn't even give us like a spring or summer, just 2017.
No, because they knew people like you who grew up on it were going to read that and see that and just be like, you know what, just give it to me now.
Yeah. Take my money.
Yeah, take it.
Man. Yeah, I'm going to buy the shit out of that. I'll probably even I'll get the single issues and the omnibus once it comes out.
Oh yeah,
as long as
they
good.
got you. They found something that you love, and it was like, you know what? You're like, I'm getting the singles, I'm getting the omnibus, I'm getting.
Yeah, even if it's not good, I'll probably still get it just to support.
Just
it.
because it's Robotech, and I can understand that.
Cause I can't think of the last time they did like a Gundam or Robotech comic. Any publisher really.
Yeah, well, especially at least not here in America. I'm sure in Japan they probably had like a comic going on for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like this is the first like kind of mech. Well, I guess excuse me, Voltron-esque comic to be released. Like because I'm sure there's other mech stuff out there, but like not toy lines, but like cartoon or animated series. I guess they did Mask, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, I can't think of any. None that have been released like through an American publisher or anything. Like I can't think of any, like you just said, mech or anything. Because even if you get into just giant creatures, period, point blank, pretty much the only thing that gets released over here is Godzilla.
Yeah, or like Kong right now.
But I can't think of. Yeah.
Excuse me. Because yeah, you would think like Boom, because Boom does they got a lot of licensed animated series, and I'm surprised they haven't done anything like this.
That's what I was trying to. I was trying to think of who it was that has all the licensing. Yeah, it is Boom, and you would think Boom would have been like, you know what, we need. The closest thing I can think of, it just came to me. I know I was going to say something else, but it just came to me all of a sudden. The spur of the moment, the closest thing I can think that we got was Transformers.
Yeah, that technically counts. But I guess
would you put that in the same category?
I wouldn't read it, but I would put it in the same category.
I didn't say if you would read it. I said would you put it in. I wouldn't read it, and I grew up on Transformers. Like, I love Transformers. To this day, I still love Transformers, but I can't bring myself to read a Transformers comic book.
I've heard there's one guy in particular. I don't agree with all his viewpoints, but he says it's really good. It's written by James Roberts. I'm not sure what else he's done, but maybe at some point if I ever come across it, in like a dollar bin, at least pick it up just to see what the writing's like and see what it's about and go from there. Yeah,
we get some sponsors on the show. We might do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, right. So start calling us, people.
Anybody listening? The Columbus Comics Corner is officially ready to sell out.
We are your Columbus Spotlight.
Yeah, I mean we're a pretty big comic hub in the country.
We are the only podcast in Columbus, Ohio, doing comics. Not really, but
yeah,
we'll just tell them that for now.
Hey, for now. I'm just saying this. They can sponsor us. They can set us up. We could do some comic conventions, do some cons.
Well, we're still waiting on the half price.
Some merchandise. I'll gladly wear a Transformers T-shirt during a live panel at a Comic-Con. Anybody who wants to do, I think Marvel does. No, is Marvel doing Transformers now, or is it
No, that's Boom. That's Boom.
Boom's doing them now.
Yep.
Hey, we love the independents too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got a few of them.
We love everybody. I think tonight proves that we love everybody.
Yes. Yeah, I think every episode, for the most part, we've had at least two or at least one independent on there.
We always have it seems like we always have at least one indie. I think there's maybe 2 episodes possibly where there's no indie books that week, but normally we try to make sure we get an indie book in. We give everybody a shot.
Yeah, it really just depends on what's coming out from the the big 2 first. I definitely always look at my Valiants and Image first to see what they're putting out, and a little bit of Dark Horse. But DC's always my go-to. I got some Marvel mentions I'm gonna mention too that you're gonna like, that you'll probably want to pick up as well. Ties in with a big event that we're talking about.
Oh boy.
Oh yes. But yeah, that is the comic book news. One piece of news that we have, but it was juicy.
Juicy.
What else is juicy is my whiskey and Pepsi that I'm drinking, because I had to work last night, so I didn't really do much. So it's the first of the year. We're recording our first episode. It's like, I'll have a little drink. Why not?
Yeah, we got some interesting books to start the year off with.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But we can go ahead and go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I will spoil this now. At least one of these books really disappointed me.
I want to say 1.5 for me, I think.
1.5? There was one that had a slight letdown in it, and then there was one that had a huge letdown in it, and yeah. I'm like, how dare you bait me for something that you're going to do later on down the line that I'm probably not going to care about by the time you do it. Yeah. I think by saying that, you know exactly what book I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about now. That last sentence explained it.
Oh, we're going to get to that book. Wait till we get to that book. I have words for this book.
Nice. Cool. Well, let's hop into our first book of the night.
Well, the first book of the night that we have is the Justice League versus Suicide Squad #2. Which quickly picks up with the action of Amanda Waller telling the Suicide Squad that they have 2 choices. Either 1, they defeat the Justice League, or 2, she kills them. And This is a pretty interesting way that they did the fight because they kind of jumped back and forth between the different matchups that we saw from the last issue. So we get to see who was it? Enchantress fighting Superman. Mm-hmm. We get to see Cyborg fighting Killer Frost. But that comes later in the book. Before we get to that, we get to get a glimpse at what Max Lord's plan is for his little team that he has. And essentially what he tells them is that they're free to go, but they all want revenge on the same person. And this person seems to be Amanda Waller. And as soon as he says that, everybody is ready to see what his plan is. And the first question they have is, are you using mind control on us right now? Which he says no. And then the second question is, what if the Justice League jumps in? And he lets them know, he knows that eventually the Justice League is going to get involved. And he can't wait for that to happen. But they got their hands full right now. That's when we get to see these one-on-one fights, which is hilarious because I called it last week. Why was Superman fighting Enchantress?
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. And what happens? She realizes his weakness is magic and then takes him out pretty much. Killer Frost manages to take out Cyborg. Of course, Flash beats Captain Boomerang. That was no surprise to anybody. Diablo's kind of, sort of, he starts to hand it to the Green Lanterns, and then they do exactly what I said they should have did to him, which is put him in a bubble and put him on timeout.
Yep.
Killer Croc tangles with Aquaman and realizes that Aquaman's skin is pretty hard. Of course, Captain Boomerang is the one that drops the beams as to what's going on. And then we also get to see Batman taking on Deadshot, which is interesting because Batman is being pretty ruthless to Deadshot.
Yes, he is.
Pretty much tell him he's once a villain, always a villain. There's no amount of good that your team can do that will ever make up for all the people he's killed. And then the what should have been the shortest fight in the book, we get to see Harley Quinn fighting Wonder Woman. She kind of frustrates Wonder Woman a little bit, but of course Wonder Woman takes out Harley. And for a minute there, it looks like the Suicide Squad is actually about to take out the Justice. The Justice League is about to take out the Suicide Squad. And right when Amanda Waller is getting ready to ignite the bombs in everyone's neck, Enchantress knocks Superman out, and that's when Amanda Waller tells Killer Frost to absorb Superman's powers, because Superman's powers comes from the sun. So the amount of energy he has in his body is ridiculous. So she does this and becomes unbelievably powerful. She can't believe how much power she has, and essentially freezes the whole Justice League. And then we get Batman waking up, and it turns out that Batman is locked in a futuristic straitjacket, and he's being told that the Suicide Squad obviously has beat the Justice League, and now the Justice League is being welcomed to the Suicide Squad. And it turns out that they're all locked in special cages designed by Amanda Waller. What a cliffhanger to end it on. Because it doesn't insinuate it. It essentially tells you that Amanda Waller has what she's always wanted. She has the Justice League as the Suicide Squad. She's going to be prepping them to be her new Suicide Squad.
Which would be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. I know that if she could have, she would have preferred to have got the Justice League in the first place instead of putting together the squad she has now.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So this was Christmas for Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller got exactly what she wanted. She has all the Justice League members. I'm not sure if she's already implanted the explosives in them or not, or if she's getting ready to prep them for the explosives. But everybody's locked up. She's managed to find a way to neutralize everybody, and I'm trying to look at how she has neutralized everybody, because of course Batman is in I
was going to say she has the red sun on Superman.
Yeah, Superman's red sun. Batman's in the straitjacket. I'm not sure what that is with the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Looks like Barry's in
she has their face covered. They've got some kind of mask on. It looks almost like Deadshot's mask.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess since they can't see anything, they can't make any kind of constructs, I'm guessing. Um, Flash is the most interesting one because how are you honestly going to contain Flash?
Yeah, because it only looks like they have him in some kind of, I would assume, a time bubble of some sort.
Yeah, he's in some kind of bubble. And
Yeah.
then Wonder Woman is probably one of the most interesting ones because I'm not sure if they're hinting at her original weakness. Because Wonder Woman's original weakness was she became powerless if you could tie up her bracelets. If you could tie her arms together, and her bracelets would touch, she would become powerless.
Yep.
And they have her tied up with her lasso, which is really crazy that they use her own weapon against her.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
And then you can't see Cyborg, but we all know Cyborg's like hooked up to some kind of wires and it's probably neutralizing all his tech.
He's in a standby mode.
Yeah, they put him in rest mode.
Yeah, overall it's a fun issue, though.
What were your thoughts on this issue, though?
Overall, it's a fun issue. If we had a dime for every time Amanda Waller threatened to blow their brains out, we'd be pretty rich.
Like I think she threatened about 4 times in this issue to detonate everybody. And it seemed like Killer Frost was always the one answering the call. Like, no, wait a sec, give us a minute, give us a sec.
Yeah.
Don't be too quick to jump to hit that button.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my notes too. Like, she's kind of the noob, but seems to be in control for the most part. Of the not control of the whole team, but she seems to be the one that's
the situation.
Yeah, it's the situation. There was one line when Aquaman was fighting Killer Frost at the beginning. That there was a little nitpick, but the line he said, it was like, "You're going to real jail, Killer Croc. No more secret missions." Kind of just threw me out. Like that's the one thing you had to say this whole issue. Well, he had some other stuff to say.
Exactly.
But that's the first line.
Something else. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's the first line you're gonna say.
Yeah, like that's your first line. You got this whole issue, and it's the first thing you're gonna say. Something I thought was interesting when I was reading through was when they were talking to Maxwell Lord. I'm not sure what we're going to call his team right now, but when they were talking to Maxwell Lord in the Swiss Alps, who was it? Somebody made the comment about missing time.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that as well. The rebirth references. That was excuse me. What was her name? I thought I had it written down. Emerald something.
Yeah, because she was talking about the eye.
Yeah.
It just made me think because from what I know, I haven't really read a lot of the New 52 Lobo and everything. I was under the assumption that the pre-Flashpoint Lobo, most of the pre-Flashpoint characters that you hadn't seen in the book, or that you've seen new versions of, the older versions were gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder, like, how are these, at least one of these characters, like Lobo, we at least know this Lobo is the pre-Flashpoint Lobo. So it makes me wonder, like, how does this Lobo and the other Lobo exist in the same place if they're supposed to be the same person?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I wasn't reading DC during the 52, so I'm not too familiar with that sort of stuff. Because it felt like besides Lobo, it seemed that the rest were pre-52, pre-Flashpoint, like old school C-list characters. That I think Emerald was in New 52, I believe, because she was one of the ones that mentioned Lost Time, and then the other guy as well. I wish DC did like what Marvel does and put all the characters at the beginning of the issues when you forget to put them in your notes.
Yeah.
Rusto, I think his name was. But he had mentioned it as well. He was like, when I came back, I was told that, time was missing, blah, blah, blah. And then there's even Johnny Sorrow, that was his name. Even they mention also the Emerald makes a reference to the Legionnaires, the Legions. So I thought that was interesting. Because there was Stargirl was in I Am Suicide Squad, issue 1 or 2, I believe, when Batman went to Arkham.
Yeah, that was the first issue, because that's when he was assembling the team.
Or was it Cosmic Girl? I think it's Cosmic Girl.
She was in the cell and she drew the Legion symbol on the wall, on the window. So then, do you think that these are subtle hints that the Legion's going to be coming into play somehow?
Maybe not. Well, she did mention that she needs to get in contact with them, but I don't see them bringing them into this. I think it's maybe just for people who may be jumping on to DC Rebirth, and this may be their first book. I could see them kind of just hinting at it to give people some insight of what's to come. For anyone who didn't read Rebirth, maybe the Rebirth special. Yeah, but I personally don't see him coming into this event. I think they're just hinting at it for what's to come. Because actually, Jeff Johns, I don't know if you saw his tweet yesterday or today. It was he tweeted out. He said Happy New Year's, and he's going to be returning to comics. And it had a picture of Dr. Manhattan. So it makes me think that he's going to be writing the next DC Rebirth special.
Well, we're finally get the reveal that everybody already knows. I'm telling you, man, they've read out pool no stuff where everybody knows is that Dr. Manhattan behind everything, but all of a sudden it's not Dr. Manhattan.
It's Jeff Johns, so I trust him. But that would be poopy. I would.
Yeah, because it a lot of times when you're telling a story, you want it to be a surprise. Okay, you don't want people to be able to guess. You know, if you're on issue number 2 and it's a 6-issue miniseries, you don't want them to guess what's going to happen in the 6th issue on the 2nd issue.
Yeah.
But there are those rare occasions where it is okay for everybody to already know something way ahead of time. It's not going to take away from anything. If we find out that it's Dr. Manhattan who's been up to this all this time, and that what he said at the end of Watchmen caused him to go and do the New 52 and all that stuff, it's not going to be a disappointment. If anything, it's going to be more like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and how he explains it and what happened during that time that has passed. Yeah. You know. Instead of doing another fake out to a fake out, that would be kind of lame. I wouldn't.
Yeah, don't do a fake out. You know, add to it maybe. You know, maybe say he was tinkering with it and he's looked at all these worlds or something, and maybe in the process he was trying to prevent something from happening. That's why he did all of this. Is he saw something cataclysmic about to happen to the DC universe, and to save it, he made it into the New 52.
Yeah, only time would tell.
But don't do the fake out where it's like, well, we thought it was him, but it's not really him. He has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I trust in Jeff Johns that he won't do that. Yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about, but we never know. They could pull one over on us.
Yeah, you get that executive order like, yeah, we don't want it to be Dr. Manhattan.
Now I think about it, because you had mentioned earlier off air that it was sold out at the store you went to. I wonder if it's because, since it is Justice League and Suicide Squad, and they're both in the movies right now, if that's possibly why it's sold out. But at the same time, that made me think, just a couple days ago, it's like, I would have preferably seen a different event, for DC Rebirth's first major event. Instead of them using their movie, what they're putting out on the screen. I get it. It's to get people to come to the comics as well. But I personally would have liked something different instead of Justice League versus Suicide Squad. But it hasn't let me down yet. I'm still intrigued about what's going on. I kind of wish we would have got more Maxwell Lord and his task force.
Yeah. I feel like they're waiting for issue 3 to give us more of that Maxwell Lord.
I hopefully. I mean, it almost seems like the next issue might focus on what Amanda Waller's up to.
I think the next issue is going to be half and half. I think it's going to focus on what she's up to, but I think this is what Maxwell Lord was waiting for, because he knew the Justice League was fighting a Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. So I think he figured that one team would beat the other one, and why they've captured them and they're doing whatever, that will be the opportunity for him and his team to move. So that's what I think this is. I think that Maxwell Lord was biding his time for this moment. And so in issue 3, I'm thinking that part of the issue is going to be Amanda Waller explaining how, she's going to make them into the new Suicide Squad. But at the same time, it's going to be Maxwell Lord's team actually putting their plan into motion.
That could be the case, yeah. I could see that. Oh, you have the physical copy, don't you?
Yep.
Because I have the digital one, so after when Lobo's talking to Maxwell Lord, he's asking about the mind control, and then Lobo walks away. Is Maxwell's nose bleeding?
Oh yeah, you caught that, didn't you?
Yeah, so it is bleeding in your physical copy, because it's kind of hard to tell on my digital.
No, it is, and he's wiping his nose.
Yeah, that because if it was blood, that would have to be one of the things I kind of thought was a little bit stupid, because Lobo asked him, are you doing this mind control? And then as soon as he turns around, his nose is bleeding, and you got Dr. Polaris and Johnny Sorrow there as well, and they should see his nose bleeding, and why wouldn't they be like, hey, why is your nose bleeding? But it could be a nitpick, and he could just have them under his control.
I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say possibly because he wasn't using his mind control until Lobo stepped at him. Think about it, it's Lobo. Lobo is a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And so he probably wasn't using it until he seen Lobo getting confrontational with him and was like, oh boy, I got to get him under control now or he's going to ruin everything.
Yeah, it's just a nitpick that I had. I was like, someone else should have said something if they saw his nose bleeding.
Yeah, or they should have looked at each other. Like maybe if the next panel, since they were standing there, if they kind of gave a glance at each other, like, you saw that, right? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that would have been nice to see. But yeah, the Flash banner with Boomerang was great. He was making fun of him. He's like, do the rogues know that you're two-timing them? And pretty much was like, what did he say? He was like, you're kind of
he was like, I know how to take care of you. Take away your toys.
Yeah, take away the toys, and he called him the weak link of the rogues, and that's kind of why they got rid of him.
Yeah, he's like, well, I guess they figured out you're the weak link.
He's like, yeah, it's kind of an open relationship. That was good to see. 'Cause I haven't seen. I don't think he was in Rebirth Special, but I haven't seen Flash and Boomerang interaction since before Rebirth. Because I don't think he's been in.
That's why it was fun for me to see that, because the other fights were interesting. And when I seen that Flash was going against Captain Boomerang, the first thing I said was like, well, of course he's going against Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, he would have.
And then the second thing I said was like, this is going to be the shortest fight.
Yep.
This is going to be over really fast. I don't know what it was about Boomerang and why he didn't say, let's switch up.
Yeah, I don't know what Aquaman was thinking, though, when he tried to hone that shark on Killer Croc. He just fucking...
Yeah, Killer Croc's I always wonder how my claws would hold up against Jaws.
Just slice the thing up.
And then he sliced the shark in half, and Aquaman freaked out no!
Started crying underwater. I did enjoy the Batman and Deadshot fight, because that whole time, you mentioned earlier, Batman has been being pretty harsh to him, and Deadshot's like, hey, you talk pretty tough for a guy who pushes children to fight. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they was both taking shots. They was taking some serious shots. And Batman's like, Batman was essentially like, once a villain, always a villain, and your daughter's never going to think any better of you because she watched you kill a man in front of her. And he's like, well, I was trying to save her life. And he was like, well, at least I don't make kids fight for me. It was like, whoa, hold up. I think you guys need to go to a counseling session or something, because there's some real bad blood there.
and it shoots him in the chest, and he's like, the pain is worth it to make sure
Yeah,
that I stop you. So I did
I was
enjoy
like,
that.
yeah, that's Batman.
I didn't enjoy the Harley Wonder Woman thing as much, but I'm glad they at least, Wonder Woman even mentions like, she would rather be fighting something else other than dealing with Harley. But I did like when Harley came crashing her bike on her and then explodes, and you see Wonder Woman just walking out the flames with Harley on her back.
It was like, yeah, I got Harley.
Yeah, I did enjoy that, but it was one of those scenes they were probably like, what are we going to do with Harley? I guess we'll just have to put her with Wonder Woman and make Wonder Woman look badass as always.
Well, Harley's line was funny, though. Harley did have a funny line in that fight. Where she was like, you just mad because me, Superman, and Batman are in the new Trinity?
New Trinity, yeah. I thought that was good.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, and then one thing I was going to ask you, did you read much of Aquaman 52?
No.
Okay, because he had mentioned when Killer Croc and him were fighting, I think it was Croc that said, you don't remember me, do you? From Amnesty Bay. So I didn't know if that was I didn't know they actually ever met before. I mean, I'm sure they have, possibly, but I didn't know if that was a 52 thing or not.
Well, I never knew they met either, and he said that, and I was kind of like, well, did they ever actually meet? Like, has he fought him? And he's like, that's probably one of my counterparts. So I'm like, well, could it have been Ocean Master? Like, could he have mistaken Ocean Master for Aquaman?
I think it's one of those the Lost Time rebirth things that are going on that there maybe could be hitting at.
Oh, and you think that? So there's the question, and I'm not sure if they've answered this yet. Do you think that it's only certain people at this point who are starting to remember that lost time or remember stuff before Flashpoint? Slowly
but surely. It seems only Flash, or Barry Allen, Wally, Batman, and now some of the Task Force X are starting to pick up on pieces.
I didn't even stop to think about that when Aquaman and Killer Croc were fighting. I didn't stop to think like, well, is Killer Croc remembering something that Aquaman hasn't remembered yet?
That could be the case. Well, I'm sure they'll explain it. Yeah, the more I think about it, I feel like it's one of those rebirth things that they're hinting at. Lost time. But I did enjoy Harley's time bomb, though. Well, her confetti bomb.
That whole last part, I enjoyed other fight. I enjoyed her line about the Trinity, but then I like how she faked her out with the confetti bomb and then dropped the motorcycle on her.
Yeah.
I was like, that was kind of pretty ingenious, but I mean, it was kind of pointless because it's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I definitely enjoyed them realizing that Superman should not be fighting Enchantress.
Yep, and you mentioned that last week too.
Yeah, and then for Killer Frost, when Killer Frost sucked his power out, I was like, oh my goodness, like, he looked like the Dark Knight Returns when he got hit with that that bomb. You remember that part, Dark Knight Returns, and he got hit with that? It was like an electromagnetic bomb or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when she did that. And I was like, "Oh man, like he's about to die."
And her eyes red. I thought that was really cool. And then the white panel,
and then she just froze everything. She's like, "Nah, everybody just stop."
Yeah. So
I will say this: they're definitely making me feel a little bit bad for Killer Frost. Because they mentioned how her team set her up and how she almost ended up dying, all that because of her team, and even with the one Suicide Squad where they're kind of giving some more of her backstory and her inner monologue and everything, like it's really like she kind of doesn't deserve to be there.
No, but at the same time, yeah, I think she wants to, but because eventually this is all supposed to lead up into her joining JLA. So I wonder how this is all going to play into that, because right now, I mean, she's full out villain she's like probably the standout character for me right now. And the way she's drawn, she looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite incarnation of Killer Frost. Because I remember the old one with the straight mohawk and everything, and she really wasn't that too interesting of a character. I think they're trying to flesh her out more, and like even like you said, from her design standpoint and everything, I think she's drawn better here than I've ever seen her drawn before.
Yeah, because like I mentioned, I didn't see any of her in 52 because I didn't read really any of 52 at all. So I haven't seen her since before that. So yeah, it was cool to see her in this reincarnation.
I think she's like she's kind of like Raven, where they're starting to really flesh them out more and make them more of a character.
Yeah, because she was always kind of just part of the Rose Gallery.
Yeah. So I thought this was good, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen in issue 3.
Yeah, same here. And it's only 6 issues, so they got to do a lot of wrapping up.
Yeah.
And they're all fucking locked up now. Yeah, I do want to see where this all ends, though. 'Cause especially with all the rebirth hints that were dropped in here, I'd like to see more of those sprinkled out to kind of flesh that out a little bit. Because they really haven't touched on anything about rebirth since the special, really.
That's what I was going to say. Essentially, so far, all we've really gotten from Rebirth was the that special that kicked it off, and then we've been getting little hints here and there in other issues up until this point, but we really haven't got any like big overarching story elements added to it. We haven't got anything more added to it, really. Like, we just got, couple characters remembering each other, a couple characters getting back together, a couple hints here and there at missing time, a couple people remembering stuff that others don't remember, but we haven't got that big like aha moment.
No. Yeah, which I'm definitely not expecting the aha moment just yet. I mean, I'm cool with the slow burn for what they've done so far, and I like the idea of the C-list characters kind of mentioning the lost time opposed to our main protagonists. As always. Overall, yeah, fun issue though.
Yeah. Didn't disappoint. It didn't disappoint me.
No, few little nitpicks, but overall, I enjoyed it.
So I guess that's going to take us to our next issue then.
Cool. So next we have Generation Zero number 5. We didn't cover issue 4, I don't think. I think we had skipped that one.
I think we did 3.
Okay. Did you get a chance to read 4 at all?
Yeah, I read 4.
Oh, cool. But yeah, just a quick recap. So we finally see the showdown between Gen Zero and the Rook Police Department. Excuse me. Ending up in Telet being shot up. Adele wants to become a Psyot opposed to going to Harvard now, and while the Zygos twins are working on the anti-Mumu enzyme device, the Cornermen enter the school lab and get away with the twin Katie. And at the end, I guess I forgot to put in my recap as well, Keisha, at the end, she grabs the enzyme device that they were working on, and she actually, shoots herself up with it. And at the end, she sees this. I described it as a 80s Transformers movie / Infinite Crisis tower. But yeah,
I think that's an accurate description.
Okay, cool. So that was a quick that's pretty much essentially what happened. Just a quick recap of everything in there. Overall, for this issue, we're 5 issues in, and we're still in the dark about some of the open plot lines. I thought it almost seems like when Night of Door has closed and they're opening another one. So I'm hoping in the long run this all pays off, but there's still a lot of questions in issue 5 to resolve, I think. because we have the cornermen, and now we have the police, and now this tower as well, which I don't think it has anything to do with the cornermen. It's whatever, which will probably finally be revealed, is whatever Rook County, has been up to, and brainwashing these children to not be able to see it. And they kind of mentioned that with the moo is finally explained that it blocks the brain functions in adolescence. Excuse me, blocking what Rook County doesn't want them to see. So that's finally explained at least. So at least that door's open and shut. So we do have an explanation for the moo milk. Well, what did you think about the issue overall, though?
Definitely like the action in this issue. Some pretty good action between the battle.
Oh yeah, at the beginning, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
action.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's going down.
It's going down finally. Yeah.
I definitely agree with the unanswered questions. Because I mean, you would think that you want to, like you said, close one door and then set up to open the next door. But it's like they open a door, then they open another door. Then they kind of close the door, then they open another door.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it interesting that for whatever reason it's blocking the adolescents. That it's the adolescents that they don't want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And the tower kind of, I'm with them. That tower kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, wait a sec, what?
Yeah.
And it's not even a little tower. Like it's like a Dr. Wily tower. Like it looks like Mega Man's about to go in there and fight 9 robots.
I'll say if anyone's seen Arrival, it's that size of a tower.
And it's kind of like, how did you miss it? Like you're like, how did nobody see this?
Well, the kid, yeah. I mean, I can see Generation Zero being able to see it. Like, actually, I wonder how they're not able to see it, because they're not originally from Rook, so I'm wondering how it blocked their sight from it. Now that I think about it, Ooh, that kind of bugs me now. Now that I think about that.
Yeah, see, yeah, it's the deeper you get into it, it leaves more questions to be asked.
It's like, yeah, because I definitely understand like the teenagers from Rook not being able to see it, obviously because of the juice or the milk. Obviously, that means like all the adults are aware of it. I would assume, and they're behind this whole conspiracy, whatever Rook is up to. I think the most person that's getting between the action and those questions, I mean, it was still a good issue. It was a good issue, but it just left me scratching my head on a bunch of stuff. Like, well, can we get an explanation of something here? Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I totally agree.
I don't mind. I wouldn't have mind in the issue, and the overarching question was the tower. But like you said, you got the police. That's a question, and then what were the one soldiers called?
Well, I think the police are. I think all of Rook, all the police. Her father is aware of this whole thing. Like he's aware of that tower. He's able to see it. Everyone else is able to see it, but for some reason, the Psyots and Keisha and teenagers aren't able to see it.
Okay, well, see, it's like that just leaves the basic question: like, what is this? What are they doing? What is going on in there, and why are all the adults in on this? What's the bigger? Yeah,
that's definitely the big question of the whole series, which will probably be answered, I'm sure, by the end. That was pretty much mentioned, I think, in the first or second issue. Kind of how the adults, the hierarchy adults were up to something, and that's how Steven, that's one of the reasons Steven died, was because he, saw what was going on. But I did enjoy the banter between Kronos and her father at the beginning. Like, he's telling him to, be peaceful. He's like, you're not being so peaceful yourself. But yeah, that banter was pretty cool. And then I like how they shot him with the radiance blast, so they couldn't see it. But I thought it was cool that Cloud is a pretty superhero thing, but how her psychic impressions were able to remember, her collective conscience was able to remember like their body form, and that way she was able to see through it. And I think Animalia, which we probably should call Animanga, or I think that's what she wanted to be pronounced now.
That sounded about right.
Anime Leah, when she became that manga monster, and she's like slowly but surely having the most character development, I think, so far. Even if she gets like a little bit of moments, but those little bit of moments are so big to her character, I think.
Definitely agreed. I think I came in I read the first 2 issues before we did 3, and then I read 4 before this one. But between then and now, I would agree that she has had the most character development. And like you said, even though it's been little bits here and there, but for her character, that's actually a lot.
Yes. I would definitely have to agree with you there. And then, Cronus almost loses his shit and almost kills her father. But there's another thing that
which was a weird panel for me.
Oh, his facial expressions, probably.
It was the facial expressions, and then the where is it at? The part where he's like looking up.
Oh, when he has his neck or his hand around her father's neck.
I think that was it. It was like the perspective, like the perspective of it just bothered me, the way it was drawn in that perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Where is it? Where is it? I'm looking for it.
It's right after he rips his helmet off.
Yeah, he like did she trip him? I think she tripped him. And he's on the ground, and he's looking up at her, and she's got like her fist balled up, and it's just a weird perspective. Is her name Chrono? Is that her name?
Cowboy hat is Telek.
Okay, I don't think she had the cowboy hat on here.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of Cronus is the dude.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the girl with the castle shirt.
Okay, gotcha.
And the red skirt.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, because he's talking about, Daddy's happy to see you, and then they started talking.
Oh, Adele.
And then I think she tripped him. She might have tripped him, or he fell, or whatever. And then he's on the ground looking up at her.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now.
And he's talking about how they spend like drunken Kardashians on weaponry, and that perspective is just weird to me.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't bother me as much.
It didn't terribly bother me. It just looked weird to me. Like, you just see it and it's just like, that looks kind of weird. Oh well.
Yeah, I think Cronus.
That's literally how I did it. I was like, looks kind of weird. Oh well. Next panel.
Yeah, I thought some of Cronus's facial expressions were a little goofy looking.
Oh, I can agree with some goofy facial expressions in here.
But yeah, overall, there's one thing I was going to mention. So when Telek, Cowboy Girl, when she gets shot up, the one thing that kind of bugged me is like Cronus is able to heal people because he healed Keisha in the beginning of the series, but for some reason he doesn't attempt to heal Telek. It could be because she has several wounds in her, but with his power, he could still attempt to help her instead of allowing her to bleed out. That was one thing I didn't quite understand why he didn't use his powers to attempt to heal her instead of stand over her and look at her.
Maybe that'd be one of those things that they'll answer later on down the line. But that is a very good question, though. Like, why wouldn't you at least attempt? Even if you couldn't do it, even if you couldn't heal her fully, why not even attempt?
Attempt to, yeah. Because those bullets they used were quite hefty. Like they're pretty thick. They're not even bullets. They're like cylinders. Cylinder rounds.
Yeah, they look like the old Daredevil cane.
Yep.
Minus the rope. Like, we call these bullets the Matt Murdock.
But yeah, the bigger reveal though is at the end when she shoots herself up with the enzymes to be able to see it. So they still. I'm still enjoying the series. This one probably just had more questions than we've discussed. Previous issues. Because again, we are 5 issues in, and a lot of answers are still unanswered, while we get new stuff happening as well.
Yeah.
And I'm questioning now why the Psyops weren't able to see the tower if they're not from there originally. Yeah, that kind of bugs me. I kind of just want to know now. Oh yeah, one thing I thought it was interesting that her father didn't want to use lethal force because it was like, just because they're superpowers, they're still kids, and Cronus loses his shit when when one officer's like, fuck this, you see that monster, and they shoot at Animalia.
Lethal force.
Yeah. Lethal force. Yep. And he shoots the rockets at Animalia, and that's when Cronus loses his shit.
That's it. Let's go full lethal.
Yep. And then another question now as well is, where is Katie, the Zygos twin? What's the cornerman up to?
So this has just been a bunch of questions then.
Yes. Yeah, it's a slow burn, but hopefully this all pays off in the end. Because usually,
maybe there's going to be one answer at the end that's going to explain everything.
I would think so, or at least one answer that explains the whole Rook County thing, and then before that's explained, everything else is like all those other plot holes are closed up, sealed and dealed. But yeah, we would definitely have to find out next issue, though. I'm enjoying it, though. But yeah, like I said, yeah, this is the issue we have the most questions with.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting more answers from this issue than I got.
Art's fun, though. I always enjoy the art. Andrew Dollhouse is a good artist, or a good colorist, I should say. Oh, yeah, it was funny when back at Rook High when Keisha's with the Zygos twins, and she's like, every time I'm with you guys, I feel like you're looking at me, like, stripping away my body. And they're like, well, actually, we find the human form, repulsive, so we picture you with more clothes on. And then there's that panel of her like bundled up. I thought that was funny. But we will see what happens, though. Cool. You want to move on to our next book?
Oh, well. Wow. Our next book, which has kind of become like a Comics Corner staple.
Yes,
Wolfcop. We are already on issue number 3, which I have questions about this issue. But...
Whew. Do you want to know I wrote a review for you. You want to know my score, or do you want to wait until after we talk about it?
No, what was your score? I want to know what's the score.
5.5 out of 10.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Like, I started at a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then the more I thought about it, it went down to 6, and then it went down to 5, and then I was like, no, I can't do a 5. Because in weird science law, that's a fuck you 5. I can't give this issue a fuck you 5. But I'll give it a 5.5.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's what I don't normally have to read a issue before the show like more than once. Like a lot of times I can read an issue and know exactly what I think about it and pick out what I want to pick out. But with this one, I had to go back a couple times, and even then, I'm still like, yeah.
I was afraid the more I read it, the more I was just gonna be. I was just gonna say, I feel like the more I read it, the more I was gonna be pissed off about it. So I think I only read it like, I think I said it off air like 1 or 2 times at the most, and I was like, nope. I'll wait till we discuss it.
All right. Well, we pick up with. Well, it was funny. He's in full Wolfcop already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's made me wonder: is he stuck in Wolfcop form now? But he's headed back to Woodhaven, and as you get there, you see that it's pretty much gone downhill, and there's people like fighting in the streets. He takes out a dude with a meat cleaver, takes out a couple of criminals. Then he gets shot in the face, which raises the question of that I had with the comic book. He gets shot in the face by Willie, and if I'm not mistaken, Willie got his head chopped off in the last issue, correct?
If I'm not mistaken, we had a moment of silence for Willie, goddammit.
We did. We had a moment of silence the last when we did Wolfcop number 2 for Willie. And here Willie is, already in Woodhaven, shooting Lou in the face with a shotgun. And as he's patching him up,
real quick, thank God we didn't look at the previews, because when I was doing my review, I went and looked at the previews for this. Because I usually, me and you don't look at solicits. I at least don't look at solicits or previews. This was actually in the previews.
The part with Lou?
The part with Lou.
I mean, with Willie?
Alright, the part with Willie, yes.
Oh, I'd have been disappointed. I would have been disappointed in that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember her name. I keep forgetting her name.
Tina.
What was her name?
Tina.
I want to call her Maggie. Like, I don't know why. Like, I want to call her Maggie.
Wrong comic book.
But wrong comic. But as Willie is patching up Lou, Tina comes in, shoots Lou in the face, and realizes who it is, and she tells them, you guys are still wanted. I'm the one responsible for, trying to track you guys down, so it's not really smart for you guys to stick around. And during this time, Willie kind of explains how they've been on this crazy journey and how she doesn't know what they've been through. And he even comments on how he had his head cut off by a samurai sword. But we get no explanation for how he's still standing there. So she knows is that because they're in his gun store. That is his gun store, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she knows that he has a lot of like military grade weapons. And she's like, well, you're breaking laws right here by just having this grenade launcher sitting here, not to mention how many bylaws you guys are breaking. And then there's a shot, and Lou takes the bullet for Tina, and I don't know who this dude was with the I can't even say vampire teeth.
Cyborg looking motherfucker.
Yeah, he had like the dead shot eye, and then he had like the metal like sharp teeth.
It would remind me of something of like a 1990s like Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, like he'd have been like the second in command or something.
Yeah.
The top henchman. But they start battling this Terminator guy. It's called a Terminator guy. And it gets kind of weird because in the midst of the battle they beat him, but there's been a guy that's been walking up and down the street with a John 3:16 Jesus is the light sign on his chest, like the type of guy that's like the world is going to end tomorrow.
Yeah, because the whole town was going to shit.
Say that again?
Yeah, because the whole town seemed to be going to shit. He was just waiting for the apocalypse.
Yeah. And so this dude like cuts his face up, and then he morphs into some kind of like Cthulhu tentacled, eye covered monster.
Kaiju.
And then, yeah. And then they just spend the rest of the issue fighting this guy.
12 pages dedicated. I mean, it was, cool action. There was, 12 pages dedicated to full out action. I'm not sure if it was necessary.
You know what? I maybe could have found it necessary if there would have been some kind of explanation. There was zero explanation. And, so they I can't say they finally beat him because it's basically Willie that beats him.
Now,
Willie hit him.
Willie hit him.
Willie hit him with that grenade launcher.
Yeah, that happened, and then he came back, and then Willie gave Lou the same grenade launcher to kill it, and he finally killed it. So I was like, because I get it, 2 different forms, but I don't know. Go ahead and finish the recap, though.
well, no, it's cool because you're right. He came back, and then he gives him the grenade launcher. He shoots it, and then Tina throws her grenade on him, and I guess they triple blow him up. And no, yeah, it's just weird because it's like, okay, so you got Willie that hits him with the grenade launcher. He comes back. Tina hits him with the grenades. He comes back, and then you give Lou the same grenade launcher, and then he shoots him, and then somehow that's the end of it. So like was his weakness being blown up 3 times?
3rd time's a charm.
I'm guessing so. And then we end with them limping off into the smoke, and Lou saying he wants some donuts.
Some donuts. End. So
I'm taking he wants some liquor donuts.
Oh yeah, of course. So if anyone's been listening since we've been covering this book, we have thoroughly enjoyed this book. Like thoroughly. We've loved this book. We even did a movie corner, for the original movie. But man, this issue, like when Lou came back, I was just thrown off. I was taken out of the issue, and it was really hard for me to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm like, that Lou?
It was really hard for me to enjoy it. And he even looks like the movie universe Willie. As like the reincarnation of the movie universe.
Yeah. And then he makes the comment like, yeah, I had my head chopped off by a samurai sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, they traded dialogue about that, yep.
And then they don't go into explaining how in the world he's still there. They don't even hint at how he's still there.
Nothing. They drop it immediately.
And then, is it me, or did it appear when you read the book, did it appear that he had already been there?
Yeah, for a while. Like, chilling, stockpiling, fucking grenade launchers.
So, are there, like, multiple Willies running around, or is he like Kenny? Because I remember the episode of South Park where they kind of explain what happens to Kenny when he dies, and he just wakes up in his bed.
Pull a Kenny on us.
I'm wondering, is that's huh?
So they pulling a Kenny on us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that what's going on with Willie? Like, Willie dies, and then he wakes back up in Woodhaven? Like, is that what's going on?
It almost...
At the end of the last issue, he dies, and then Lou hops in the car, and he basically rides off.
Because that's why he got a hold of Tina.
He's gonna go back to Woodhaven.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the reason he got a hold of Tina. He was like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm coming home. Like I just lost my best friend.
At the end of that issue, we got dead Willie, and we got Lou heading back to Woodhaven by himself. And then he pulls up to Woodhaven, and Willie's already there.
And the one thing they explained was that he's when they were talking, they do explain Willie's formation. Like he's full Wolfcop right now from now on. They did trade that one piece of dialogue to explain why he was still in Wolfcop form. But yeah, the whole escort business, him getting his head chopped off, not touched on. Like, even if I
Well, I
would
mean,
have saw this,
it was touched on. This wasn't explained how the
Yeah,
already came back
explained.
and how he got there before Lou did,
and why he looks like the Willie from the movie.
Exactly.
It almost seems like one thing I thought about was like this could have been like an editor's, choice or issue. They were like, "Hey, we have the movie coming out. We need to tie this all back into the movie now." And, maybe this wasn't Max Marx's like choice to have to write this story. Who knows what? Like, it only like left me with questions, wanting to know what happened behind the scenes, what choices were made or could have been made, because like if you think about it, this whole issue is a flashpoint. Like, we're in a different excuse me, we're in a different universe right now.
That's how it feels.
Because when he gets back to the town, he mentions killing the sheriff of the town, and it always seemed when we started the comic we were in a new timeline. With Willie being there, that's a different timeline, and them being on the run.
Yeah, that's. I don't even know at this point because.
Exactly. That's why I couldn't read it a second or third time. I was like, I'm just gonna get more frustrated.
I had to read it a second time just to see like if I really read what I thought I just read. Because like you said, from the moment I saw Willie, I was kind of taken in the back, like, well, why is Willie there? And then I'm like, okay, he said he got his head chopped off. He referenced issue number 2, so maybe there's going to be some kind of explanation. Maybe Tina's going to be like, well, how are you still, how are you here? But nothing.
Nope. I think it's all just. I mean, it still hit some of the comedic marks and the action that we've seen in previous issues.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, other than that, it's just like, it's really hard to enjoy the issue, not knowing what's going on with this timeline.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like you said, it hits all the Wolfcop notes. It hits exactly what I was expecting from Wolfcop. Like it hit what I'm looking for in the book. But the fact that you have a character that I've come to like and enjoy, Willie, and you killed him in the last issue, and I'm thinking like, oh, Willie's really dead, because we had already established that we figured that this was separate from the movie because of how the movie ended with Willie. So we're like, this has to be separate. So you kill him in issue 2. I'll take a moment of silence for Willie, pick up the next issue, and Willie is back, and there's no explanation for it. Like, that took me out of, no matter how much Wolfcop they put into this book, I'm still taken aback because I need some kind of explanation for, what reality is this? Is this supposed to be the same reality? If it's not, I can live with that. But just explain to me, or at least give me a hint as to why Willie is there.
Yeah.
Even if he would have said, I had my head cut off by a samurai sword, and Tina would have been like, well, how are you still alive? Or, asked a question about it, and he was like, well, I'll tell you about that later. I could have lived with that.
I could have,
because that means they're going to give me an explanation. But the way that they did it was just like, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. If you're reading this, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. Just live with it. At least give me a hint that I'm going to get an answer like in the next issue or something.
Yeah, Willie may be a Nazi too. Because I didn't picture this, but when after he shoots him, if you look at the background, when he's holding the tweezers, that swastika looking thing. Do you see that on the billboard or the backboard?
It was on the box. What is on the box?
No, it was above the box on the pin board.
Oh, I knew it was by the box.
I was like, ugh. That was weird. That threw me out too. But man, I did not like the art. Saved the book. I thought the art was cool, but.
Well, the art, that's the thing, is like it's like I said, it hit the Wolfcop notes. The art's been good for all the other 2 issues of Wolfcop. Like, I can't knock it for the art. I can't knock it for the action, because it's got the over the top crazy action I'm expecting from Wolfcop at this point. It's got some of the jokes and everything still in there. I'm even cool with him being stuck in Wolfcop mode. That's fine for me.
That's fine with me too. Yeah, I didn't have an issue with that.
It was just really that one thing is what really just like took me out of this issue. Like it took me so out the issue is unbelievable.
No, me and you are definitely at the same feeling on that.
Yeah, because I could see with where an explanation or setting up for an explanation later would have kept me in this book and made me enjoy the book. But it's really that one thing. Like it's seriously that one thing.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if this is getting a fourth issue because I looked at. That's one thing I did. I looked at solicitations for Dynamite like through up till March, and I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything for Wolfcop. So if this is
maybe you're right. Maybe this issue was meant to set up the movie.
I hope not. Well, I don't even. Yeah, my hype train's come to a halt for this book. And if this is the end, like, what the fuck? Like, why?
That's terrible. If this is the end, that's terrible.
That's terrible. The probably worst ending to a little mini-series ever.
Yeah.
And let's hope not. Let's hope not.
I hope, and it's a shame because for the listeners, we are so upset about this because, like we said before this even started, we've been following. We did a review for the movie. We did a review for the first two issues. We've loved the movie. We love the first two issues. We're fans of Wolfcop.
Yeah. And
this was like a letdown. Like this is really hurting. It's a shame that one thing in the book let us down that much.
I can throw it off so much.
Yeah, it's just one thing. It's just that one little thing, which could have been fixed with either an explanation right then and there, or with Willie saying, "I'll explain later."
Like they didn't need another cyborg for Willie to fight, or for Lou to fight. They could have used that to explain, and then lead up to the big kaiju monster at the end.
Yeah, they could have even had his explanation be cut off, like in the middle of it. Like he's starting to explain, was like, well, you know, he starts giving us an explanation, and then all of a sudden, that's when the big monster comes out and kind of interrupts his explanation. I would have been cool with that.
Yeah,
but to not even take the time to even acknowledge that we need an explanation as fans. We need to know what's going on.
I don't even think. I mean, honestly, I think about it now. Like, I'm not even sure if that would have saved it for me, just because the book still feels like it's a movie universe book now, opposed to the previous timeline that the previous two issues showed us.
I'm just thinking of something they could have did. It to me, anything would have been better than this.
No, I agree.
Anything would be better than this. Because at least with attempting to do an explanation or starting an explanation, it gives them somewhere to go.
Yeah, it seems like this is a wrap up.
Maybe if there is an issue 4, maybe that's what issue 4 is going to explain. Or maybe if this is a tie-in to the movie, maybe the next movie is going to explain something's going on with time or something. I don't know.
That could be the case,
Willie's stuck in a time loop and can't die.
That could be the case, too. They could be pull this into the movie somehow, and it's explained there. Maybe it's to get people to come watch the movie. Because even in the movie as well, I mean, they're all back, or Willie's back in that too. But we haven't seen that yet, so we're not sure if that's explained either. I'm sure it would be, unless it's just I don't know.
Trust me, I'm right with you. It's a shame, like I said, that one thing could really just take a soul out of a book and out of a series that we've been loving.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if we're probably done on this book for now. We'll just get more upset
Yeah.
I figured that's why we put it in the middle. Probably should have started with it, but whatever.
Yeah, and got out the way because I already got a book that's gonna upset me too coming up. But yeah, I'm done with this. I don't have anything else to say about Wolfcop number 3.
I am done as well. So that brings us to DC's Young Animal line issue, or comic, I should say, Mother Panic number 2. So just a quick recap. Violet decides to take a more laid-back approach of investigating the art buyer. In the meantime, she goes to a gala to pick up a late-night fuck to pass over the time. Dominic, still being held hostage at Violet's home, gets free and runs into Violet's mother and has dinner with her. Tracking down Mr. Hemsley the next morning, Mother Panic is able to obtain info of the whereabouts of the mysterious art villain. She attempts to kill Mr. Hemsley, but the issue ends with a flashback of her shooting and killing her father. This was a easier issue to digest for me. It wasn't as chaotic as the first one was, I thought, and we're getting a lot of character development from Violet Page. She's definitely the rebel with rebel without a cause, and has some personal issues as well. Especially with the whole father thing, because at one point she gets a flashback of her father and her uncle or friend discussing. She catches like the end of the conversation, and it almost seems like her father is is going to allow her dad's friend to she thinks molest her, but it comes out in the end that we still don't know what happened, because she confronts her dad about it and has a shotgun, and before he's able to explain, she shoots him. So that's kind of in the beginning, and then like I said, that's where the cliffhanger is at the end. Would you agree with me that this issue was easier to digest?
Yeah, it was definitely easier to digest, easier to follow. Like I said, it didn't seem as chaotic as the last issue. I'm going to agree with what you were just saying about that conversation. The way the way she walked in and what was being said, it did sound like her father was going to let his friend molest her.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of twist with that. I'm not sure how you're going to twist or flip that or whatever.
I was thinking that too. Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's going to end up being a twist.
Yeah, because she wasn't able, or her father wasn't able to get the words out, before she panicked. Speaking of which, Panic.
She is Mother Panic.
Mother Panic. Her mother is also, batshit crazy. But I like the idea of her separating herself from being a non-vigilante. Well, she tries to be. She wants to rough people up, but even she tries to, when she attempts to try and kill Mr. Hemsley, when she catches up with him, she's not able to. And then it shows when Mr. Hemsley wakes up, she took out all of her anger on all the collectible cars that he had in his garage. So the character development is off the charts with this issue, especially, I think. And I like the idea of...
Definitely would agree. I would definitely agree with that. They are doing some pretty good character development. I enjoy... I enjoy her tantrum through the garage.
Yeah.
But probably what I enjoyed the most out of this book, and I know it's going to be so silly and so simple, I enjoy the guest appearance by Batwoman.
Yeah, the cameo. Yep, they've
the little small. It was like the Batman cameo on the last one, because Batman in the last one just kind of swooped out the shadows, dropped down, looked around, and then that's all you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see Batwoman on her motorcycle, like, oh, so there is a new person in town who wears white, and then that's all you see from Batwoman.
Yeah, and which helps, I think, place this of all, because that was one of my notes as well. Like this Mother Panic really places the DC Young Animal, I think, in the DC universe the most. Like everything else is tied into it, but this seems to be the most tied into it, because they even have the victims fund for the gala incident that happened in Detective Comics. So that really, tells us where the Mother Panic is, and I mean, which makes sense. She being in Gotham, that this would be, because I wasn't sure if this would be the same Gotham going into it, but everything the whole Young Animal seems to be somewhat tied in to the DC universe, but just slightly, especially with the other books. But yeah, this one is the most connected to it, I think.
Yeah, especially when you got to the victims gala thing that she was at.
Yep.
Where if you look closely, most of the people there are dressed up as either victims or they're dressed up as villains.
As villains, yeah.
Because you got a Penguin, you got Two-Face, the Mad Hatter is there, there's a Lady Joker.
Lady Joker, yep. And then some chick with an axe in her head, probably one of the victims.
Look like he got shot inside the head, but that's a weird idea. I put that idea up there with the Harley Quinn supervillain fetish club.
Mm.
Like those are two weird ideas. You just walk into a room and you have this weird premise and everyone's dressed up in costume.
Yeah, because even the guy that she leaves with, because it's funny, like after she finds Mr. Hemsley at the party, she overhears him talking about where he's going to be at his garage tomorrow for his a car that he has coming in. And then she's like, I gotta pass the time, and the guy that she leaves with looks like the Joker, and it looks like he's like fumbling with like his like prop guts before they get in the car. Yeah,
he's got like a Joker style suit on, the purple striped suit, and you're right, he is like fumbling with his guts. I kind of wish I could have saw his full costume.
Yeah, because I turned back to see if he was in that full page, but he wasn't.
And then the part where she like cuts her finger and leaves the faces on the wall.
Yeah, to get him not to call back. She said that's one way he won't get a hold of me.
Which is also interesting because before that you get a shot of her back and she's all cut up.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder, why is she cut up? Like, is she a cutter? Because, I mean, some of those look like she could have done those herself. Or are these from her escapades out at night? Or, like, what is with all the scars?
Yeah, I couldn't place my finger on it as well. Maybe hopefully that'll be answered. Yeah, just to go back a little bit, though, I was going to say, like, towards the beginning of the issue, she's not, really, she's not a likable character. But we're starting to understand why, she isn't likable, because she is going through, all this shit. Like, we find, I mean, really the big reveal is, she killed her father, because that was brought up in the beginning when the news reporter, at the first issue, when the news reporter was like, would you question, or can you answer on your father's death? And she doesn't want to talk about it. So, that's definitely a big reveal, for what's to come. And I enjoyed the conversation when what was it, Dominic, I believe his name was. Yeah, Dominic gets released. He like breaks free and wanders into her mother's like garden, and she's having tea and talking to the animals, something out of Alice in Wonderland. And yeah, he just sits down and has a normal conversation with her. She's like, "Would you like tea and sandwiches?" And like, kind of spills the beans to her, like, I was going to school overnight, trying to finish up my preregs, but he just got, the guy he was dating just got him into, some bad shit. And then there's, while they're talking, another pretty nice reveal, not reveal, but little thing that popped up was the person that was listening to him the whole time. Like, who is she?
Which is what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
Like, who is that?
She's got her own oracle.
Questions.
Well, this is a good question, though, because we're 2 issues in and not 5, and we don't have 5 million questions.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is how you do it. You get a couple of issues in, raise a bunch of questions, and then start answering those questions.
Yeah, she didn't have a problem, bleeding herself, but she almost seems to have an issue making anyone else bleed after killing her father. Yeah, it's funny. She like flicked him off as she was like closing the door. In the Batwoman cameo. I'm loving Mother Panic's design though. I'm a fan of the art. It's,
yeah, I like the art. I said in the first issue I like the suit. I am definitely more. They hooked me in more with this issue than they did with the first issue.
Same
kind of on the fences. I thought there were some good premises and ideas there, but I wasn't quite sure that I would like where it looked like they may be taking it. But issue 2 has kind of brought me over a little bit more. I definitely want to see issue 3. I want to read issue 3 of this and get some more insight and some more of these questions answered.
No, I agree. Yeah, it definitely hasn't won me over yet. It's close. It's definitely close to it. But yeah, I think by issue 3, if it keeps up the pace that it's going, this will be a good book for me. Because it's cool. Like Jodie Houser, she writes Faith as well, and I'm a fan of that. So, and that's on the lighter side. So it's cool to see her writing a lighter, superhero character, opposed to Mother Panic, who's a lot darker. I like the contrast between her writing for both of those so far. And the warehouse scene was pretty cool. Or when she goes to confront Hemsley, and I like how
yes.
excuse me, the dialogue is like she's being so subtle because she's like throwing the tire iron, and she's like the kids from the warehouse. Like she's not like exclamation point or anything, just talking silently. And then he's like, what the fuck are you supposed to be? And she's like, where are they? And then she finally yells.
He's like, oh, here's the address.
Yeah, but she finally yells.
He just like immediately gives up the address, like immediately.
I would too, looking at her. But I like how she the one time she yelled when she said the children. I thought that was pretty impactful because just like the whole dialogue transition from going to calm to being pissed off real quick. And then she has like the little shooters in her mask. I thought that was cool. I think it was like acid. Looks like it's acid.
Yeah, that's what I took. I thought that was acid.
And we still get like those weird, the random panels that we got at the beginning, but I think they're starting to make more sense now with the explanation at the end of the book. Me personally, I'm seeing those like the random images. Like the last one was a bunch of cranes and the rabbit and the skull panels, and then in this one we get the deer with the crosshairs, and then when she shoots the acid on him, we get the strawberry that's like bleeding out. So I'm starting to enjoy those a lot more. Because the first issue I was like, it didn't really quite make sense. Yeah, it quite didn't make sense, but now it's slowly but surely all coming together. And then she wants to kill him, but yeah, that's when she's like, fuck, and he wakes up and all of its cars are smashed, and you got the DeLorean in there. I thought that was a nice touch.
I caught the DeLorean. It says Mother May I on it.
Yeah. Mother May I have some more. Yeah, and the big reveal when when we flash back to her father, it's when he had taken her to the cabin, because in the beginning her and the friend were going out to shoot. So it almost seemed like, she was even like, this is why you brought me out here this weekend. So he could, do unspeakable things to her, and, she freaks out and shoots him. So it makes me think, why her father really brought her out there, and what's going on with the mother. It almost seemed maybe he was trying to save the mother from going crazy. Maybe he was trying to treat her with something.
Maybe. and he knew that her being so young that she would say something.
Yeah, and maybe she wouldn't understand. But yeah, some good questions opened, and some things closed as well. So this issue definitely a better issue for me from the first issue.
Yeah, definitely much better than the first issue. Upgrade.
I think my favorite part was probably the dialogue between Dominic and her mother, and that reveal of the lady listening over him. It's like, who is that? And I thought her house is fucking massive. Like, there's a bunch of like hallways and staircases. Dominic even mentioned how it was like a maze walking through there. The answer is Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, this book isn't as like psychedelic as the rest of the Young Animal line has been. Oh, you should read Cave Carson, by the way. Third issue, so good. So good.
I have to give it a look.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I think that's my second favorite Young Animal line book right now. But hell yeah. Mother Panic. Definitely to continue this. You got anything else for this one?
Nope. I think covered it all.
Yeah, I think we did too. Not much happened, but there was just a lot to. Even though there wasn't, it was
character
easier,
building.
Yeah, character building, and even though it was easier to digest, it was also a lot to take away from it as well, which I enjoyed. But that is Mother Panic, and we can move on.
All right, well, I guess that'll bring us to our next issue for the evening, which is going to be Detective Comics number 947. Pretty much wrapping up the Victim Syndicate. The last issue we left off with the Bat family about to take down the Victim Syndicate, and then all of a sudden, spoiler drop down out of nowhere. In this issue, she pretty much commences to taking out every member of the Bat family. She has a contingency for everybody. Like, she's able to shut down Batwing Suit. She's able to disintegrate Clayface. She essentially tases Batwoman. What's that gas she used? When she knocks out Orphan.
Yep. And
then that just leaves Batman. And she tells Batman that she doesn't have a way to really take him down, but that he's part of the problem, and that pretty much what villains have always said, or what people always say to argue against Batman, is that people would have no need to become supervillains and dress up in costumes and commit these elaborate crimes and everything if there was no Batman. The fact that he exists, the fact that he operates, makes people want to take that extra step and escalate things way further than what they need to. So she tells him that he has an option to step down and stop being Batman tonight. The whole Bat family needs to shut it all the way down because he's not letting anybody have any kind of life, or she's going to actually expose everybody's identities and has concrete proof that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person. Obviously, they don't take her offer. They destroy her device, and she essentially says, well, from this day forward, she's going to make it her life's purpose to essentially throw a monkey wrench into their operations. The Bat family goes ahead and arrests the Victim Syndicate, and then we get Clayface a few days later at Arkham talking to Mudface?
Yeah.
And he's essentially trying to befriend her and tell her that, he's willing to come here and talk to her so she's not alone, and here talk to her about whatever it is. And then they have a little bonding moment at the end of that conversation. And then we get Batman and Batwoman overlooking First Victim, where they say First Victim's fingerprints are in the system. There's no DNA on who he is. They took his mask off, and judging by his face is apparently deformed. So the guards decided to let him keep his mask, so they have no idea who First Victim is. And then they talk about the fact that Spoiler is still out there and if she's going to become a problem. And we actually see that some of the Bat family has actually been trying to connect with her, especially Harper. And she's choosing to ignore phone calls. She's tore wires out the Bat signal, and looks like she's going to continue to do little things here and there to try to take the Bat family out. But at the end of this, we get a reveal that appears to show that Red Robin is indeed still alive, and that he's actually trying to get a hold of anybody and let them know exactly where he's at, and that something is coming. And then that pretty much wraps up the end.
Yeah.
What was your feedback on this issue?
Just to touch on the Red Robin thing. Yeah, we definitely still knew that he was alive.
Yeah, we knew that.
I'm glad he didn't get away. I kind of wish they wouldn't have even touched on it, really. But to just jump back first, I was kind of underwhelmed with this whole arc. We kind of called Spoiler, this setting up Spoiler to leave, because I had mentioned that when we spoke about this last. I was like, this could just be their way of getting Spoiler out there, out of the team for now, and bringing in, because he even mentions, see if Harper and Azrael want to join the squad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, underwhelmed with the First Victim Syndicate. They didn't really do too much. I mean, they got taken down. They pretty much gave up last issue, and Batman was like, call the cops. But I did enjoy when Spoiler Face took down Clayface, how she disintegrated him, and how she had a plan, for everyone to shut him down. That was alright.
That's what I was going to say. I enjoyed how she ran through the Bat family, like you said. She pulled a Batman, where Batman had a plan for everybody, and she had a plan for everybody how to take everybody down, and she did it.
Yeah, because I was going to say, she came up with this plan pretty fast, but she had mentioned, I could let it slide, because she kind of mentioned working on it with Robin from the start. So, she could have had this not in play, but she could have already had this, ready to go if for some reason this would ever happen. But overall, yeah, I kind of just thought it was a setup to future books. But there are some things I did enjoy, I like the idea of expanding the team. You can have a revolving door of characters, because I know James Tynion, even mentioned bringing on Harper and Azrael. But I did enjoy when Batman freaked out when the First Victim was talking to him. He was like, "Is this what you wanted?" And I wonder if I can find that page real quick. He's like, he flips out immediately. It's like, "This is not what I wanted." And you see the emotion in Batman. I thought that was cool to see. Oh yeah, of course. He's like, First Victim is like, "This is what you do, Batman. This is the impact that you have on the world. Are you happy?" And he's finally broken. And he's like, "Of course I'm not happy." And he kind of yells. But like you said earlier, we've seen this before, where everyone the play on do we need a Batman, and if Batman wasn't around, would we have all these villains and whatnot? So they're kind of rehashing on that again.
Yeah, that's not really covering any new ground, because that's always an argument against superheroes in general, but especially it seems it's always used for Batman.
Yeah.
It seems like when it comes to Batman, there's always that one villain who's like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Riddler wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Penguin wouldn't be, all these villains and stuff wouldn't be here if there was no Batman.
Yeah,
the world would be peaceful if there was no Batman.
Yeah, we've seen this naive Batman before, and in this situation.
And I can let all that slide. Definitely, like you said, her taking out the entire Bat family, Batman's emotion coming out at that moment, the reveal that Red Robin is still alive. yeah, they maybe didn't have to reveal it in this issue, but it didn't take me out of the issue. My biggest problem and the biggest letdown for this issue for me and for this arc was the fact that they did not reveal who First Victim is.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence if I wanted the reveal or not. I
wanted it.
I think I wanted it too when I think about it. But they had,
I don't.
We didn't know. We knew Red Robin was still alive though in 945, I believe. Because remember, they show a panel of him with Dr. Ozymandias, or not? Well, possibly Dr. Ozymandias, but Dr. Oz, I think was what they call him. Mr. Oz.
Well, yeah, you're correct. We knew he was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what you're headed with that is saying like, so there was no need for the reveal here because we already knew he was still alive.
Yeah. No, we didn't need the fake out of him trying to get away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But maybe
which I can agree with. I wanted First Victim revealed because the way that they hyped this up and the way that they were showing like how Batman or how he supposedly affected each one of these people, like how they're a victim of all these different villains and these different events in Batman's history. I wanted First Victim to be revealed. I don't want him. He's not the kind of character where I want them to put an arc on for a little while.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden bring him out like later on and try to make it seem like it's a big reveal. Because by the time they do that, I'm not going to care.
Yeah, we're gonna forget about it. Be like, oh, that happened 6 months ago.
Yeah, they're either going to forget about it or they're going to do it and it's not going to have the same impact. If they were to reveal this at the end, like it could have been a huge impact, like for whoever it could have been. You know, I know, and we spent this whole entire arc trying to guess who First Victim was.
Yeah.
You know, and to get to the end and not have that reveal, because I figured they were going to wait until the last issue of the arc to reveal who First Victim was.
I thought
and
so
then
too.
to get faked out like, well, he has no fingerprints in the system, his DNA is not in the system. Like they said, I'm like, oh, it is Joker. Because Joker's fingerprints and stuff, nobody knows who Joker is.
And they even said that in the beginning of the arc too, that because when they were doing their detective work and all the other victims, you know, like we can't find anything on First Victim, so we already knew this, like from the beginning of the arc.
We knew they couldn't find anything on him, but now we're to the point where they're like, well, we don't have DNA, we don't have fingerprints, we can't recognize his face now that we've taken the mask off. Even why not show us his face?
Yeah.
You could still be like, we don't know who he is, and show us his face, and then be like, yeah, they decided to let him keep the mask.
Watch it be tied into some.
I don't know. I was disappointed at
Watchmen.
this ending this way.
Yes, I agree.
So what?
I was going to say, watch it be tied into some Watchmen shit. It's going to be the comedian.
Probably so. Like, I don't know, and I'm not going to care.
But I did enjoy the interaction between Mudface and Clayface. He was like, how he was asking, you know, put me on the list, you know, and I promise you I'll be here every day. I did enjoy their moment together. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was a good moment. That's why I was so upsetting about First Victim, because there was great moments in this book. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here that was really great, but that was one of the biggest things in this arc for me, and it was a letdown. I love the moment with Clayface and Mudface, and he like you said, he's like, I'll come back whatever time, every day you want me to come back, and we can talk about whatever, and she brings up the one movie, like, you know, how about how you were so terrible in such and such movie, and he was like, yeah, we can talk about that, I wasn't that bad.
And speaking of Mudface, there's a panel when Spoiler is the Gotham signal's out, and at the bottom of the page they're surrounded by the victim syndicate. Tell me why Mudface looks like she's like 8 feet tall when she's like kneeled down.
You said it's which part?
It's on the page where Spoiler has the remote, the control, and there's a back signal in the background. And if you look at the bottom of the page,
oh wow,
yeah, I was like, wow, she grew a lot.
Yeah, she's been eating her veggies.
Oh, and we didn't even mention that spoiler didn't have. She was bluffing the whole time. That I thought was cool, like how she was playing the card and Batman took it.
Yeah, she out bluffed the bluff master.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's funny is that whole entire moment of what she did was all the way up to that moment where they found out she was bluffing. That was a Batman moment. All of that was something Batman would have done. He has a contingency plan for everybody. He came down. He would have come down, taken everybody out, made his demands, told them why he has these demands, and then been like, "You do this, or else I'm going to do whatever it is." In her case, I'm going to reveal your identity.
Mm-hmm.
And normally the villain would have folded or something, but obviously they didn't fold. They called her bluff. Found out she was bluffing. But the fact that Batman, like you said, actually fell for it. She actually got the Batman.
Yeah.
Which goes to show that maybe New 52 Joker was correct. Batman's weakness are the people around him.
Could be the case. It was a little too easy how they distracted spoiler to get the phone out. Each one of them had their little Saved by the Bell moment, revealing some old past about themselves.
Wow. Saved by the Bell.
I've been kind of watching that a lot lately.
Don't blame you. Classic.
No. I think it's leaving Netflix soon. I think that's why I was watching it. I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and watch this before it leaves.
Man, I got the box set a couple years ago and went back. Like last year, I think it was last year, I got the box set and just like marathon the whole original Saved by the Bell.
It's so easy. Like, it's only like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I still need to get the. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I need to get the college years. I want to finish the college years.
Oh, I forgot about the college years. That was a different cast, wasn't it?
Partially. Like, Zach was still there, and I want to say Slater was still there.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe Screech. Screech was still there, too, I think. But you're right, most of it was a new cast. And then I want to track down Saved by the Bell, the new class, because that didn't even last that long.
No, it didn't. That's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, that's how long it lasted.
It was like a season, maybe 2 seasons that it lasted.
They were pushing it. They were like, oh, let's see how many more we can get in. Because I don't even think, they don't have the college years on Netflix. They ended at the, when they go to the beach resort.
No, they don't. They don't even have the made-for-TV movies on Netflix.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Like the wedding, Zach and Zach and Lisa's wedding.
Oh yeah. Shit. What else is there? Just had something on my mind. But they don't have that, but they can crank out another fucking shitty season of Full House on Netflix. That drops so quick.
Oh, the season 3?
I think they're on season 2 now. They
are on season 2. Season 2 is on there.
That shit drops so quick. It probably costs like an arm, or not arm and leg, a twig to fucking. That's how much it costs to make.
Hey, Netflix is on fire right now.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. They got so many original content shows on there that I need to. I checked out a couple of the sci-fi ones, but they were kind of voodoo. One was like a Looper ripoff. Actually had the lady who plays Hellcat and Robbie Amell on there. They were like the stars of it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but that's it's Detective Comics, Saved by the Bell. Whew.
Yeah, the Detective Comics number 947, the Saved by the Bell issue.
Edition, yep.
Where everybody learns a valuable life lesson. And the secret identity of the primary villain everyone wants to know about is not revealed.
Not revealed. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have at least hinted at something. Like, if they couldn't find the DNA, at least hint that, I don't know, just hint at something regarding it. Touch on it just a little bit.
Yeah. I think they came up with first victim and they have no idea who it was supposed to be yet.
Or like an editor thing, and they're like, we're not sure what to do with this yet, so just do this. Have Robin at the end. That'll get people excited.
Yeah, that'll get people excited. That'll make them forget that we didn't tell them who first victim was.
Nope, didn't work on me. Great, I mean, I'm still intrigued by what's going on with him, but I don't think it needed to be. It didn't need to be in this ending issue for this arc. Not necessary.
Exactly.
But
just tacked on to set the next arc up.
Yeah, Monster Town. See what that's all about. But I don't read solicits or previews usually, so I like to go in fresh, not knowing what I'm getting into.
Exactly.
Because if Wolfcop, I probably still would have read if I saw the previews. So I'd have been like, oh, maybe they're going to explain what happened or how we got to this movie universe. Nope. Nada. Cool. You got anything else for that?
Oh, no, I definitely have nothing else for that. A disappointment and a letdown.
Yeah. Hopefully this next arc will be solid. We'll see what happens with Spoiler and how they bring in the Harper and John Paul.
Yeah, they even try to suck me in by mentioning John Paul Valley, like, and they finally call him by his full name.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we're going to give him Robin and John Paul Valley. Maybe this will make up for no first victim reveal.
It did not. Yeah, while this book had good aspects, it also had some flaws that were not necessary. But we can move on if you like.
Yeah, let's move on. I want to see your opinions on this next book.
And that brings us to Spider-Woman number 14. So, quick recap. Jessica is dealing with the death of Porcupine not so well. Carol Danvers shows up to babysit her child while she goes out to investigate the issue. She visits Olivia, who's Porcupine's ex-wife, to question her about any details that she may be aware of. Her and Olivia get into an argument, and Olivia tells Jessica, pretty much she hates her, for taking away Porcupine from both her and her child, to suit up again since he is ex-con, and to babysit Jessica's child. And Ben Ulrich provides info showing Porcupine's whereabouts earlier before his death. And Jessica pays a visit to the villain bar to kick some C-list villain's ass and get some questions. But she doesn't get too many questions from there, but she just kicks a lot of ass. But she gets a call from Carol in the middle of this telling her that Porcupine was on surveillance footage robbing a bank. There, she jets off on her motorcycle to Queens to track down the person posing as Porcupine. And the issue ends with the encounter between the two. And Porcupine is beating the snot out of Wonder Woman. And that's where the issue ends. And there's still no reveal of who is under that mask. I thoroughly enjoyed this issue. I love this issue.
Yes.
Even with the cover that, Marvel does that. A lot of people do that. The misleading cover. But this cover, I think, still suited for what was in this book. What was your take on it initially?
Based off the cover, I was definitely ready to see some Hobgoblin action here, which we did not get. But I like the fact that you have different heroes and stuff that pop up in this book, and like Carol Danvers pops in and says, "Hey, I'm watching your kid. Go out and do whatever."
She's finally done with that Civil War nonsense.
Well, it's like the Marvel movies where you love that chance that you never know who's going to necessarily show up in a book or in a movie. Yeah, and this Carol Danvers just pops up out of nowhere and just like, I'm a babysit. You go out and find out what's going on. And then I definitely love the back and forth between Spider Woman and Porcupine's estranged wife.
Yeah, that was intense.
You know how she's like, huh?
So yeah, that was intense.
It was intense because she's like, you know, we have a kid, but he spent all the time with you and your kid. You know, I was trying to reconcile stuff, but he wanted to follow you around and dress like she really laid it into Jessica. Like she laid it into her.
Yeah, because Jessica, she kept bugging her, and Olivia was finally like, I'm making funeral arrangements. Like, she finally cut her off, and she mentioned that she was making funeral arrangements, and that just like took me back. I was like, damn, like, you know, Jessica's not really. Yeah, she's dealing with a lot because, like, at the beginning of the issue, she has like a flashback of memories of her and Porcupine and Ben, you know, sitting around, and Porcupine babysitting the baby, and she even breaks down, you know, in the shower, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. So this is finally taking a toll, like being a mommy and being Jessica and Spider-Woman, finally taking a toll on her with Porcupine's possible death.
Yeah, that was awesome, and then so was the reveal. Which, I mean, for her, it was a reveal that Porcupine was actually in love with her.
Yeah,
and for whatever reason, she just never noticed it, paid it any mind or any attention.
We've all been there.
Yeah, but what's funny is I've read only a couple issues of this Spider-Woman run, and I picked up on that right away. Like, he's got a thing for her really bad. But of course, you know, Spider-Woman was oblivious to that. And then the reveal that the bar, the building, the block, and all that was owned by Kingsley.
Yeah.
And like you said, she went in there and she wrecked shop.
Yes, she did.
She went in there and she just tore that place apart. And then the Beetle jumped out. I'm like, oh, the Beetle's going to be the only person there that's going to give her some kind of challenge. And she just like zaps the Beetle. And she's done with him.
Yeah, I love before she walks into the bar. There's two of them standing outside. And they're like, would you look at this? And the next one's like, not at all smart. And she's like, no, you don't get to banter. And that's when her ass kicking starts. And she kicks the dude through the window and like slides up.
It was funny because when she said you don't get the banner, it was almost like she's like, no, you guys are nobody villains. You don't get to talk.
Z-listers. I don't even know their names.
Yeah, you guys are henchmen at best.
The guy with the, when he's like by the pool table, the guy with the Trojan horse on his chest, he's like, yeah, never mind, I figured it. And then it like jumps to Jessica like launching over the pool table as he's finishing his sentence.
He had a unicorn on his chest. That's a unicorn.
Yeah, unicorn. Yeah, what am I thinking? Oh, shit. Yeah, then she's whipping 8-Ball's ass with the pool stick. And you said Beetle. That's when Beetle comes out of nowhere, takes him down, zaps him. And then the Brune, it's coming out of his bear bathroom. Because it even has like a bear label for bears. And my one nitpick about this issue would be when he swaps the phone and, you know, knocks her away. She flings out of the door somehow, but I wasn't quite sure how she got from the bathroom to outside.
Yeah, you're right, because she's standing in front of like she's about to go into the women's bathroom, and then he slaps her, and all of a sudden she flies out the door and she's outside. Yeah,
I can look past that for everything else this issue gave me. That's when Carol calls her, and she's like, "Yeah, your son. I needed to do something with him, so I let him play with the Alpha Flight scanner." And that's when they get word that Porcupine was on surveillance, and she like jets out of there. And that panel when she's like riding off with the bike down the alley, and just like in general, like that whole page, her cutting through the traffic. The art was like pretty dope on there. The art all around on this book has been some of my favorite stuff. Very fitting.
It kind of reminded me of Akira.
Ooh, yeah. Or even like kind of like Tron.
Yeah.
With, like, the highlights, yeah.
The light cycle.
Yep. She's heading to Queens. But yeah,
And we get the reveal of Porcupine.
Yeah, well, possibly Porcupine. We're still not sure. Because I don't think it is, because she had mentioned, because that Porcupine that shot the porcupines at her, and she had mentioned, like, what did she say? Roger knows full well I'm immune to his sedative quills. So right there, I think she has a feeling that, someone might be posing as him. But we're still not sure yet, which it would make sense since the goblin's behind it, and Porcupine being an ex-con. My thought is maybe Porcupine, or maybe Goblin is blackmailing him somehow. Maybe that's the case. Who knows yet?
See, that was my second thought, was maybe Goblin's blackmailing him. And then my first thought was like, what if it's Goblin himself inside the costume?
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Or maybe it's a different Goblin, because they did mention earlier in the book where she said her issue is that there's never just one Goblin.
Yeah.
When you see one, you see other Goblins.
Yeah, they mentioned that, and then the original one as well. So yeah, we're not. They kind of threw us off track there.
Yeah.
Making us think it could be this one, but possibly, it could be other ones. And I really enjoyed the book allowing Jessica to grieve with all of this, and then when Ben Urich shows up at Olivia's, he kind of takes her away. He's like, "Sorry about this," and he even kind of breaks it down to her as well that Porcupine was in love with her, and at that point, right away, once the grieving process is over, Ben provides. He's like, "Hey, I've been doing some research myself." And I love how they provide the grieving process, and then they go straight into the detective work, then they go straight into the ass kicking, and then they provide us with a solid cliffhanger. It wasn't a huge cliffhanger, but it was just like, that's where we're ending it for now. I'm fine with where they ended it for now. I'm so glad we started talking about this book again, because I mentioned earlier when we first started doing this book, I read like the first 3 or 4 issues, and I enjoyed them thoroughly because her, Porcupine, and Ben were kind of on a road trip at the time, and then that's when she was pregnant. So I kind of fell off the book a little bit after that, but I'm glad we caught back on because I'm enjoying it again. Probably my favorite Spider book right now, I would have to say. I've always been intrigued by Jessica. I've always been intrigued by Jessica Drew.
I have too. I've always wanted them to do more with her. Kind of like same with She-Hulk. Like, they were the two characters that seemed like at the time they were created, they're more created to. Because some characters in the 70s were created just to hold on to the name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why Marvel made Wonder Man. Like, they made Wonder Man because DC had Wonder Woman and they had no Wonder Man, so they was like, well, let's hurry up and use this so that they can't use it.
Yeah. Was that the case for Jessica Drew?
And then they got fleshed out later.
Was that the case for Jessica Drew as well? Do you know?
I don't know if they did it to hold on to the name, or if they did it because they're like, okay, well, we're doing good with a male version. Let's get a female version of this character. Because back then, that's a lot of how it happened with them having like Spider-Woman, She-Hulk, or having alternate versions of certain characters, was more or less so they could hold on to the name. Because as soon as DC got Captain Marvel from, I forgot what company it was that originally had Captain Marvel, but he had been out of publication, so nobody was using the name. Marvel made Captain Marvel, and then when DC finally got the actual original Captain Marvel, they couldn't use the name, so that's how he became Shazam.
Yep.
So, at least back in the day, a lot of stuff that the two companies did was to kind of prevent the other company from having access to certain characters or certain things. So it wouldn't at all surprise me if that was the reason they did Spider-Woman. Was probably a combination of, hey, we need a female character
that's
a spider, and also we need to create a character so that DC can't all of a sudden have a Spider Woman.
Beat him to the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably call it now. I think Goblin is probably under that suit. Now that I think
so
about
you
it.
agree with my theory?
I think I'm going to go with that.
Now, are we dealing with one goblin or are we dealing with multiple goblins?
I'm going to say one. I'm going to say it's Kingsley.
Kingsley?
Yeah.
I can agree with that. That's what I think. I think that is just Kingsley, and for whatever reason, I do think it's him in the costume. I think that Porcupine is actually dead.
I was just about to say, I think if he is dead, that's gonna make me really enjoy the book, even moving forward, to see how they write Jessica Drew post his death.
Yeah, because we don't get too many characters that die in a book and stay dead.
Nope. So if he is
I think
dead,
it's more interesting to kill him, have him stay dead, and then let her deal with the grief after all this is done.
But knowing Marvel, we will probably get another Porcupine.
Possibly.
Or maybe at one point her daughter or his daughter will become the next Porcupine when she grows up. But on the good side.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the books I continue to enjoy. It never lets me down. It hasn't let me down yet. It hasn't had a bad issue for me since I started reading it and catching back up again. It's a good book. This issue really had a good flow to it. Like I said, not to repeat myself, but yeah, it provided us with the grief, investigation into the action, and goddamn, her kicking ass was so cool.
Yeah, she just went to that bar and just like demolished everybody.
She had she had a Daredevil moment. Just wrecked shop. Not even thinking.
She went down that hallway.
Yeah, hallway scene.
Just went down that hallway and just destroyed everybody.
I'd love to see a Spider-Woman Netflix series. That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Pair her up with Jessica Jones too. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Yeah, I'm so excited for the Netflix. I think they're willing to try anything with Marvel.
Oh yeah, I think if
hopefully they get away from the darker side.
Especially if Iron Fist and Defenders do really well, I think at that point they're going to be like, you know what, Marvel, do whatever you want to do. We don't even care now.
Hopefully at some point they get out of the darker side of things and kind of mix it up, because this would work perfectly as a network show for Netflix. You got Jessica Drew being a mom. It just calls for. You would think it'd be on ABC first, like a sitcom. Supermom by night, mom by day.
See, that would be better on Netflix, because it'd be something to mix up their rotation of Marvel shows that they got like that. And they could do it just like you just said. They could do it like a sitcom, and that'd be awesome. And it'd be like an action sitcom.
Mm-hmm. I'd be all about it. But I fucking love this book. The art is pretty cool. Everything about it. Can't give enough praise. Then the interaction with Jessica and Olivia alone was pretty intense. Olivia laid it down on her. But yeah, cool. You got anything else for this one?
No, I think we definitely covered everything, and you just touched anything else I would have said, because that was for me, that was one of the high moments of the book, because it kind of changed the monotony of the book by having that super serious, super real moment.
Yep.
But no, other than that, I don't have anything else.
Awesome. We can move on.
Well, I guess that brings us to the last book of the night, which is Teen Titans number 3. And in this issue, we pick up with a flashback that Damon is having because it was revealed that the current leader of the um, Demon's Fist is actually his cousin. And during this flashback, they were having a duel, and she's talking about how she actually wanted to lead the team, wants to be given the chance to lead, and obviously Damien at that time thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and that he's destined to lead and rule the world because of who his grandfather is. After a little dashly backhanded move where she tries to assassinate him with a dagger, he catches it, throws it back, leaves a scar on her face to remind her that he will always be better than her. And we catch back up with Robin and the Titans in getaway mode because they managed to make that swift getaway at the end of issue number 2. And he's explaining how he stole this plane from Batman and how he doesn't think that they're ready. And he keeps telling them that, you know, these guys are a well-oiled machine and we're not. And the main issue that we had, because we're not going to be able to hide because Wally was the weak link, they placed a tracker on Wally, and he says that's impossible. And Damien finds the tracker, and I'm kind of scared to even know where it was at.
Me too.
After they finally land in the woods somewhere, he starts to kind of talk to them, and he attempts to kind of open up to them a little bit. And he tells them how he kind of wanted to lie to them and not really tell them the truth. And they start going into essentially around the campfire saying why they believe that the members of the Demons First chose each individual member. And they come up with the idea that they realize that each one of them represents something that they can never have. They essentially took the opposite path that they did, so they kind of resent them and are envious of them. And they actually have a nice little kind of bonding moment where the whole team kind of, you know, tells little secrets about themselves and about
another
the tragedy that they've had and how they can actually come together and as a team to possibly defeat the Demons First, and that they're stronger together if they're just honest with each other and don't have to hide things from each other. Then Damien has the bright idea that he's going to take Goliath and he's going to attempt to actually try to save the team and save everybody. And his bright idea is that he's going to go and he's going to surrender himself to his grandfather and tell him that if he calls off the Demons First, that he will follow him and that he will be under his control forever. And that brings us to the end of issue number 3 of Teen Titans. What was your opinion on this issue?
I enjoy this. Overall, the training sequence at the beginning, I thought was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. You really see Damien in his heyday being a true dick when he's training Mara, and slices her and whatnot. We learn that he leaves a scar on her, and she even tries to throw the knife at him when their grandfather is giving him praise, and he catches it real quick. I thought that was a cool moment. And then that's when he throws it back at her and leaves that mark, and he's like, I'll always be better than you, talking down to her. So you get an understanding on why she is so pissed at him. I thought that was a good moment to play into, or to write. That way it gives us some backstory into the reason why she is so pissed at him, even though we don't get much of her in this issue. But overall, I thought it was a solid issue. The banter between the two. You had mentioned the tracking device that he picked up on Wally. I'm not sure, and I don't want to know if where that was hiding at.
Even he was like, "You don't ever tell anybody where that was."
I'm gonna go back in time and make sure this is erased.
Yeah, he was like, if I ever get the power to go back in time, I'm going to erase this from the timeline.
Yeah. No, and it was funny when he says the poem. Well, after they land, and he's mentioning the poem, and Kid Flash kind of snarks and laughs, and Damien yells at him. He's like, "Is something funny?" He's like, "I never really took you for a poem type of guy." Thought that was good, but. Also, I was going to mention, we're actually getting... This is probably the most, in my opinion, from what I've read of DC Rebirth, this is like the most light and hope stuff that we're getting out of DC Rebirth. It's not so dark, because they're even discussing, coming together, being a group, and they just touch on trying to see the light and hoping for better outcomes and whatnot. And they get their Saved by the Bell moment when they're sitting around the fire, because I think the line Raven drops, she was like, the demon fist belongs to the shadows, so we should come together in the light. I thought that was a good line, coming together in the light, kind of touching on, everything has been so dark and grim in a lot of these DC Rebirth books that we've talked about, and we haven't really seen a lighter side of Rebirth yet. So it was cool to see that this is.
I was going to say we had to get it from the kids.
Which, yeah, and I'm totally fine with that, and it works. And then you have Damian finally coming clean. Oh, yeah, when they do land, I forgot to mention Stargirl. She was like, he was like,
Starfire?
Or Starfire, Stargirl. What was that? What was that show called? Supermoon or Sailor Moon? Sounds like some Sailor Moon. Sounds like some Sailor Moon shit. But yeah, when Damian's like, we need to land and regroup, and Starfire, she's like, regroup. What is this thing you mentioned? Regroup. We've never been a team. Like, you keep us in the dark. So they're kind of finally slowly but surely getting the truth out of Damian, which I thought was nice. But at some point,
I thought the whole bomb thing in the woods, that whole entire thing from the moment they landed until the moment he decided to leave, was great.
No, I agree. Yeah, got a lot of like I said, got the Saved by the Bell moment with all the team breaking, telling something about themselves around the campfire. A very kid's thing to do, though.
A couple jokes thrown in there.
A little
lightheartedness, like you said, some hopefulness.
Garth being
the fact that the rest of them feel that they can do this if they just come together as a team. They need the bond.
Mm-hmm. You still got Garth being a perv as always.
Yeah, and then you have that moment, which was actually one of my favorite moments in the book. What was it? It was a moment where
was it Wally?
When Damian decided to go see Ra's al Ghul,
mm-hmm.
and he gets on the island and he's telling Goliath to go back and everything. He's got to do this on his own. Just leave. Don't come. Don't look back for me. Just go.
Yeah.
And then he's talking to himself, and he says, "I got to do this if I'm going to protect my." And he's getting ready to say friends. And he stops himself and he says, "I'm going to protect the others." For me, that was a huge moment in this book, because anybody who's followed Damian, even when we was following the prequel to Super Sons and everything, where he was talking about him and John being friends and everything, Damian doesn't have friends. He doesn't consider anybody friends. And just to see that moment where he's got some kind of humanity, some kind of childhood, some part of him where he actually realizes he does have friends and he does care about people like that. To see him getting ready to break that down and actually say the word friends, and then he just stops no, the others.
Yeah, and that's the kind of hope I'm talking about, yeah, with the whole rebirth thing. Like this, yeah. I thought that, yeah, you're right, that is a good line for sure.
And since the introduction of Damian, that's what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for them to soften him up to the point where he can use the word friends, where he can actually consider people his friends, where he's willing to call the Titans or other people for help for him to realize he can't do everything on his own.
Yeah, because even at one point he's mentioning how he wants to be good instead of being, because he has the Ra's al Ghul blood as well as Bruce Wayne blood in him, but the Ra's al Ghul blood seems to take over more. It's where he gets his snarkiness from. Well, most of it seems like. But we do get that one moment when we see at the bird cave, Mara and her and the Demon's Fist. They have their words, and we really see Mara being Damien, kind of taking his role for the Demon's Fist, and she's like, what was that line? She's like, I don't need I don't need you to like me. I just need you to do as I say.
Yep.
I was like, oh damn. But even though we didn't get much of Demon's Fist, I thought that little section they provided us kind of just built on Mara's characterization.
I don't think we needed much of them in this issue. We just needed. This is a perfect breather. Like, this was a breather issue.
Yeah. And
this was time for the Titans to regroup, have that bonding moment. And honestly, we only needed her in those two scenes to get a grasp of who she is. Because in the first scene, we see her in the training scene, she's asking. She's like, just give me the opportunity to lead. Please let me lead. I just want the chance to lead, And then here, like you said, she's turning to Damien now. She's just like, it doesn't matter what you think. I'm leader is what I think. You say what I want. You're nothing but a weapon to me.
Especially since she is the granddaughter. She's like, I have this ability. I can do this type of thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, she went from, we have the same blood, basically. It's my grandfather, too.
Yeah.
So I should have the opportunity to at least lead. And it's probably even worse for her because, I hate to say it, but she's a girl. So that's probably why Ra's al Ghul was probably like, he took Damien further. He took after Damien more because Damien's the male.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure who her mother and father are or whatever, but we all know that, Talia, normally when you see Ra's al Ghul, you see Talia al Ghul. So obviously Talia was his favorite child.
Yeah.
And on top of that, at one point he wanted Batman to take his place leading the League of Assassins. So he's got the lineage. So it makes sense that he's going to lean more towards Damien than any other grandchild.
Yeah, and speaking of Batman, at the beginning when they finally cut to the Teen Titans in the ship, and he's
yep.
He's like, where'd you get this? He's like, where'd you get this sweet ride at? He's like, I stole it from Batman. And Wally's like, you hear that? Dude steals from Batman. And then Garth, being a dick, he's like, so what if he's got cool toys? He's still a total. And it cuts off. I love the banter. Benjamin Percy's doing a good job on this book so far. I haven't enjoyed Green Arrow as I really enjoyed Green Arrow at the start, but I think he's writing Titans really well. Oh, and to go back to, now that I think about it, to go back to Spider-Woman real quick, Dennis Hopeless being the writer on that book, he also wrote All New X-Men, but I think he, for some reason, he's proven to be able to write a solo book opposed to a team book so far. I'm not sure if that's because the whole Inhumans versus X-Men thing. But even then, I still think his writing on, maybe he favors Spider-Woman a lot, and he wants to do a lot with her being a solo character. That could be the case, but I just wanted to drop that real quick because I forgot to mention that. But yeah, kind of the same case for Benjamin Percy, maybe as well. Like, he's doing a great job right now on Titans, Teen Titans.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying Teen Titans. As I said, when we got into, we first started doing Teen Titans, I had never really actually read a Teen Titans book.
Oh, really? Oh, man. You should go back and read
when we first started getting into it, I said, I knew of the Teen Titans, but I had never read a Teen Titans book. And I'm enjoying this Teen Titans. Like, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, this it harkens back to the Wolfman and Perez feel for me. You should really go back and read that stuff, like the whole Judas Contract stuff. It's a good read, and all the other stuff as well. Some good back issues to pick up. Anytime I see those, I always grab them. That was my introduction to Teen Titans. What else was there? Oh, the one thing that threw me off, at some points, Robin kind of had like a munchkin face going on. It kind of threw me out. And Garth at some times was drawn a little bit funny. But Starfire looks great. She's always been like the... Well, I guess not in this at least, but like back in the day when there were older Titans, she was more like sexualized back in the day. Like in the 70s.
You talking about Starfire?
Yeah, Starfire. Mm-hmm. Like in the 80s, 70s and 80s. She was a little...
There's... I've said this before. If you get an opportunity, because I think I said when we were talking about Doom Patrol one week, there's a reviewer by the name of Faust.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you he was a huge Doom Patrol, and if you want to learn more about like the original Doom Patrol, like he's got some pretty good videos.
Okay.
He's also a Teen Titans fanatic, and he likes Starfire. And he actually commented on that when they gave her solo run. I think it was this year. She had a solo run where they like changed her outfit up and everything.
Yeah.
And he made a very good argument for why Starfire was the way that she was. Like you just said, she was sexualized back then.
Mm-hmm.
And the argument was this: Starfire is alien, and she's from a planet where they don't have modesty like we do. They don't think of it like the way that we do. So for what she was wearing was just like something that they would wear on her planet.
On her planet,
but
yeah.
Here, obviously, we have conservative ideas on how males and females and stuff should dress.
No, I agree.
But I watched that video and thought that was an interesting argument for the characters. I think that's something that we often forget about certain characters when that argument comes up. Is you can argue that for a lot of characters, but some of them it makes some kind of sense in a weird way.
In a weird way, yeah.
Because we forget people are aliens and stuff in comics.
I even enjoyed that one moment Raven has in this book where her and Wally are sitting next to the fire, and he asks her, he's like, "Do you just push the magic spell button in your brain and it comes out?" sort of thing. He's like, where?
Yep. He's
where
like, no one's ever asked me that before.
Yeah, she's like, no one's ever asked me that, and she kind of has a moment with her and Wally. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, this book is full of cool moments and great bonding for that team.
Yep.
I'm willing to bet in the next issue the Titans are going to realize he's gone, and they're probably going to use Goliath to track him down and try to fight to get him back.
Yeah, because Garth even sees him flying away because he goes to take a whiz. And he sees him flying away with Goliath. Overall, I enjoyed the art too. Besides, some of the Munchkin faces and Garth looking a little weird. But overall, solid artwork.
Yeah, there was a couple hiccups here and there, but like you said, it was some solid artwork in the book.
I can't get this, like, when I think of Mara and I see her, I can't get this, like, anime idea out of my head. Like, it just...
Yeah, she does like an anime character.
Yeah, and her whole attitude and just the way she looks just reminds me of something out of anime. Not in a bad way, but... just another compliment for the book.
Yeah. Anime's awesome.
Still need to do our Guyver movie corner at some point here soon. Gotta schedule that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm so excited for that.
But yeah, we'll have to see how this all plays out with Damien, because he knows best. So he has an idea of some point of something. The next issue is Trial by Combat, so he's probably going to face off against Mara, I bet.
Probably. He can't just come back to get his place. He has to actually fight for it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. Continue to love this book.
Ooh, do you think he's going to let her win?
Yeah, yes. If I possibly, because I said possibly because I thinking about the start of the issue. when he's super harsh on her and won't let her, doesn't give her a break at all. But I couldn't.
Yes, but
I'm
that
not
was
sure
a
how that
different
would
Damien,
play.
though.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that would play into the story, though. But maybe they can pull it off somehow. Man, I can't get over his Munchkin face sometimes. Like, he looks like, it's in a fucking Total Recall. Oh, man.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Quato?
I think so.
Quaid, Open Your Mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Quato.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes, because when he's fighting Mara at the beginning, there's like one when he has the blade above his head. I was like, ooh. But other times, yeah, it's got the Munchkin thing. Other times it looks totally fine, but sometimes that just threw me off a little bit. But it wouldn't take away from my score if I was to score this book, though.
Oh, no.
Nice. Well, that is our last book of the night. You got anything else?
No, I think we got that all the way in.
Yeah, I think so too. Cool. Well, let's move on to our rankings for this week. So this week we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna bounce off each other. I'll start off with my number 7 this week. I'm sure it's probably your number 7 as well, but it is Wolfcop.
Oh, so are we gonna go? We're gonna go in reverse this week?
Yeah, we're gonna go in reverse this week.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That'll work perfect. All right.
All right, cool. So my number 7 is probably gonna be the same as yours, but it's Wolfcop 3. Just total. It was a flashpoint that shouldn't have happened. It just didn't make any sense, and just took me out of the book and for my enjoyment and for how much hype we've given this book up until this point. Man, I wanted to keep giving it the hype that it was previously, but it's come to a halt and just what didn't work for me. Oh yeah, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Wolfcop number 3.
Thank
Just
you.
like you said, all the hype we've been giving this book in this series, and it's a shame that one moment in a book can just completely take us out of it so badly. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, Dynamite. But
Yeah.
email us if you want to
You love one and
explain.
two.
Yeah, email us if you want to explain the reasons behind that. We're all open ears to understand what happened and why that decision was made. But my number 6 this week is going to be, I think, I might change it. Yeah, I'll leave it. So my number 6 is going to be Generation 05. It's not that I didn't enjoy the book, but like we said previously, a lot of answers were, a couple answers were, a couple doors were shut on a couple plots, but a few other plots were now opened, and we're 5 issues in. That's my only negative towards that book, really, but I guess that's the reason, that would be my number 6. How about you?
Well, this is funny because my number 6 is also Generation Zero number 5.
Yeah, it was a toss-up.
It's pretty much for the same reason. Like, there was just so many plots open, and I can deal with maybe one new plot being open, but it would just seem like every other page there was something new that was being opened and never really explained by the end of the book. And then the book ends with another plot being opened.
Yep. And like I said earlier too, like this all could pay off in the end, and they could answer every single thing, and we could end up loving how they provide us with the outcome. But yeah, so cool. Yeah, it was a toss-up because my number 5 is going to be Detective Comics, number 947. It kind of just, this whole arc kind of dragged, and leading up to this arc ending, I just kind of wasn't satisfied with the whole takedown, and kind of the reveal of what we kind of announced previously, that Spoiler was going to be leaving the team for now, at least. But yeah, that's my number 5. How about you?
Oh, what a night this is. My number 5 is also Detective Comics number 947.
All right.
For the main reason that this arc was sort of a letdown. The main reason it was a letdown for me is because the emphasis put on the victim syndicate and who they were and why they were doing this, and to not get the reveal of who First Victim was really took me out the story. Even though there was some great stuff in here, there's some really elements in here.
Yeah.
You did tell me before we discussed about this possibly being Spoiler's exit, which it was, and I think she exited in a fantastic way as far as taking out the whole team. But for me, that one little part just took me so out of not just this story and this book, the whole arc in general.
Nice. Okay. And so now that we've finished this arc, I thought it'd be a cool idea, because we kind of ranked, or didn't rank, but we kind of scored the I Am Gotham or I Am Suicide Squad arc. What would you give this arc score out of 10?
I would give this a 5.
Okay.
I honestly think it was decent until the non-reveal of First Victim, and for the arc to be called the Victim Syndicate and then to spend so much time trying to figure out who they are. I would have expected to know who everybody was by the end. So I think the main focus of what the arc is even called was dropped in the last issue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would go a little higher, but not much. I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, you better than me.
Yeah. Cool. My number 4 is going to be... I'm actually going to switch this one up. My number 4 is going to be Justice League versus Suicide Squad number 2. Nothing necessarily was kind of wrong with it, but I think after talking about it, I enjoyed my next pick just a little bit more. What's your number 4?
Okay, then now we can start breaking from this pattern we had going on. While I loved it, and I love the elements of it, my number 4 is actually going to be Spider-Woman number 14. Just because it's 4 does not mean I did not like this book. I love this book. There were some great elements in it. I like the mixture of action, comedy, detective, the mystery of who is this new Porcupine, the whole conversation with Jessica and Porcupine's estranged wife. All of that was awesome. So it gets a respectable number 4.
Right on. Cool. That brings me to my number 3 then, is going to be Mother Panic number 2. This issue won me over a little bit. Like we said earlier, it was easier to digest, and we got a lot of you got some new plot points, and we got a big reveal that tells us a lot about the character development, and we got a lot of character development, and I still enjoyed the moment a lot between her mother and Dominic. I thought that was a good moment, and I want to learn. It has me intrigued to learn more about what's going on with this family and their back history. So that's going to be my number 3 this week.
Here we go. My number 3 this week is also Mother Panic number 2.
Right on.
Like you said, great character development. The first issue kind of had me on the fences. This is getting me a little bit more interested to see where this is going to go. I love the development of her as not just as Mother Panic, but under the mask. I definitely loved her going nuts in the garage and destroying all the cars. I'm curious to find out why she has all these cut marks on her body. I did like the interaction with the mother, but overall, this just it raised the right amount of questions to keep me interested to stick around for issue number 3.
I would agree. Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah, cool. Well, that brings me to our number 2, My number 2 is going to be Teen Titans number 3. It's continued to hit all the points that it has previously since we started reading, or since we started covering this series. And I'm loving seeing kind of Damien's transformation into a new person and trying to regroup, quote unquote, his soon to be friends and not the others. And I'm intrigued to see how this all plays out with him and Ra's al Ghul. And I'm pretty certain Damien has a plan. He is Bruce Wayne's son, so he is up to something, and he has a plan. And we'll also how the other Titans are going to play into coming and finding him, or how they're going to find him. So yeah, it just has me intrigued, and a lot of questions, a lot of good questions on how this is all going to play out. How about you?
Well, my number 2 for this week is actually Teen Titans number 3. Enjoying the development of Damien and the Titans. I enjoy the campfire moment where they actually get some bonding time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the flashback to kind of see how much of a jerk he was to his cousin, which obviously shows why she's so adamant about killing him and the Titans, well, especially killing him. And I actually like the idea that while he's not ready to fully admit that he considers these people his friends, he's actually willing to make that sacrifice to keep them safe. So I'm definitely interested to see what's going to happen in number 4.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So that brings us to my number 1. Obviously, that is Spider-Woman number 14. I continue to love this series so far. This issue in particular, I thought it flowed perfectly. It hit every little mark that you would want after the cliffhanger that we got after 13 and Porcupine's death. We see Jessica Drew grieving over this, kind of breaking down, not sure if she can handle this. You see her, like I said, grieving. You got Ben Urich coming in to help her with the investigation. Then we got her kicking ass, and we're gonna kind of go from there. And the writing and the art has just been superb for me on this book. So you already heard our review. So I love this book. How about you?
Well, that was a great book. But for me this week, number 1 obviously is Justice League versus Suicide Squad. Definitely develops a story and takes it to obviously almost the next logical step, because I didn't see the ending coming, and that's part of what put this at number 1 for me.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming
the
either.
ending was a big shocker for me. I enjoyed all the fights between the Justice League and the Suicide Squad, even though some of them were obviously mismatched, some of them were silly. But when you have those two teams, some of those fights aren't really going to match up perfectly. Dialogue was great. I enjoy getting a little bit of that classic Lobo, even though I'm pretty sure he's getting mind controlled. I'm interested to see what exactly this master plan is. And I'm also interested to see if Amanda Waller has already implanted the Justice League with the explosive devices, or if she's getting ready to do it.
Yeah, I just hope this event becomes or ends big, with it being their first event. So hopefully it ends on a pretty high note. And I did enjoy the kind of the mentions about the lost time and the subtle rebirth mentions. So I do hope this ends in a big way and pays off in the end.
Same here. I think it looks like we almost had another week where we had the perfectly matched up rankings.
Almost. I think it's been like 2 episodes. I think we've had perfect rankings or tied up rankings. But
It'll happen again. This is only episode 14. It'll happen again.
Definitely will. Did you get any honorable mentions in?
Yes, I did. I got some honorable mentions in, and for the benefit of listeners, these will not be spoilers. But I actually jumped off the beaten path, and I actually did a Scooby-Doo book this week that I got to read. Scooby-Doo Team Up number 21, featuring Harley Quinn.
Okay. That's why you got it.
I also got Say what?
So that's why you got it.
Yeah. I also got Harley's Little Black Book #5 featuring Superman, which is kind of funny because they do recreate the Muhammad Ali Superman fight from the 70s.
Yeah, I got wind of that. I heard about that.
I haven't got all the way through it yet, and I really want to get into this, but She-Hulk #1, well, it's just called Hulk #1, but it's She-Hulk.
Yeah, that's one of mine, actually.
And then another one I didn't get to get through because it was actually thicker than I expected it to be was Supergirl being super.
Nice. I thought about picking that up.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how they're going to do Supergirl. She's always been a tricky character for them to do. And obviously, since there's been different versions of Supergirl, and she's getting some kind of popularity with the TV show, so I thought I'd pick it up and see what's going on with it.
That's what's up. Nice, cool. Yeah, I got quite a bit in this week. I read Images 7 to Eternity #4. It's wrapping up Rick Remender's first arc. It's pretty solid character building and world building. He's doing a really good job of making these characters not relatable, but you can what's the word I'm looking for? You can what's the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of. Not relatable, but in a way you can relate to him. He does a good job of making you get the feeling for what these characters are going through. So he's doing a good job. It kind of sucks to have to wait till March for the next arc, because he even mentioned in the back, like, you know, because with these, like, with a lot of Image books, sometimes, like, Kill or Be Killed, you know, they're coming back in January, well, this month, because they took a month off. Mm-hmm. But with a lot of those create your own books, you know, sometimes they'll take their time, and he even mentions it in the back of issue 4. He's like, you know, we want to make sure that it's, you know, perfect before we put it out there. So I'm fine with that. But the next one, what you mentioned, Hulk #1. I enjoyed it for the most part. It has me intrigued to see where it goes. It's kind of dealing with Jennifer's post-Civil War PTSD, kind of after her tragedy that happened with that. And then I also read Valiant's Divinity 3 Commander Bloodshot #1. It's a one-shot part of the Divinity series that's kind of going on, kind of based around the Stalinverse of Valiant. So it's pretty intriguing, and this one-shot was pretty fucking solid. There's a lot of action and just badassery. And then I read, this is one I was going to mention to you off air as well, but Extraordinary X-Men #17. I just read that today.
Okay, I was looking at that.
Yeah, I just read that today, and it's I would definitely recommend reading it, because kind of how when we were talking with Brandon, and I forget who mentioned it exactly, but kind of how we were like, you know, we don't really see Storm, you know, taking that command that she is in Humans vs. X-Men. But this is post that issue, and it gives you the reason now why moving forward she wants to go to war. So I definitely recommend reading that, because I've been staying away from any of the tie-ins, but I was like, because I think Brandon had mentioned he was reading Extraordinary, so I was like, I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's what he was reading.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I'll check it out, see what's going on with it. The art, I think it's the same person who did the Death of X, at least the colors. I think it's the colorist, but the art I could not get behind. But I think it was the colorist from Death of X. Just wasn't feeling it. This is kind of I won't touch on it too much, but I read Faith #7. It doesn't come out until next week, but I'm going to be reviewing it, and I read it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I have not read this yet, but I did pick it up. Is The Love is Love DC book for the Orlando Pulse victims. So I picked that up. It's fucking super thick, and there's like, I want to say at least 20 stories in there. But not only is it for a good cause, but it has Brad Meltzer is writing a book, or writing a little thing in there as well, and he's one of my favorites. He wrote Identity Crisis, DC's Identity Crisis, and that was really one of my favorites. And if you ever get a chance, you or anyone listening, if you haven't yet, listen to his interview with Kevin Smith on Fat Man on Batman. And the guy is not only brilliant, but just sounds like a really awesome dude. But that was one of another selling point to grab that book, as well as, make sure I get my donations to a great cause. But that was it. I did pick up, what was it? What did I pick up today? It was not Wolfcop. Definitely was not Wolfcop. I'll tell you that much. But what did I get today? It was where is it? I can't even find it, so I'm not even going to worry about it right now. Oh, Titans number 6. I haven't read it yet, but I am going to read that at some point. But yeah, that is my honorable mentions for this week, and that's going to wrap up.
We got some books in this week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yes.
Normally we get to this point of the show and we're like, I did like 1 book, maybe 2 books. Normally no books.
This is a good week. But yeah, cool, everyone. This is going to do it for episode 14. We'll be back next week with episode 15. We're not done yet recording because we are about to record our 2016 top 5 of the year. But yeah, stick around for that as well. Like I said, we're not sure if that's going to be a part of this episode or not, but you will find out shortly. Anything you want to plug?
At this present time, no. Nothing I want to plug. I guess I could plug the store. The store is still working on the store.
Cool.
So if anybody wants to support that in any kind of way, you can obviously find some links on our page, and anything helps. But we're getting closer and closer. So we're, like I said before, we'll probably do something special once we actually know something and we actually get a location and all that.
For sure. Sweet, cool. I am actually lately, these past every Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. You can find me playing some music on the Weird Science DC Mixer Radio channel, which is mixler.com, mixlr.com/WeirdScienceDC. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And actually, this week I'm going to be doing something a little different. Instead of playing just some of my favorite music, I'm actually going to be doing a DC and a Marvel movie score soundtrack this week. So yeah, tune into that. Yeah. So yeah, you should stick around, or make sure you tune in to see what I end up doing. But yeah, I'll be doing that. But other than that, thanks again for listening, everyone, and we will talk to you next week.